I want to play in Europe. What the hell does that mean, right? Because Europe could be Latvia, Luxembourg.
No one's talking about Latvia or Luxembourg, dumbass.
But you don't want to just shove it in there. Start with the smaller finger, especially if this is the first time. Start with the smaller finger and go slow.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Honey, eating it is the best thing that you can do for your man.
I want people to realize I'm just human. I'm just human, and I make mistakes.
So this guy, Derek, wants to know, is putting your tongue in an ass really the thing to do?
Yeah, it feels really good.
It's a weird one, I think.
And I know you want me to toss your salad too, don't you? All right, on that note.
What are you saying, bro? You are.
Stop, bro! Stop, bro, help me, I'm stuck!
All right, well, in the straight red card, interesting Thursday night. I mean, there's some midweek stuff we're going to cover as well. Some transfer news stuff, right?
Yeah.
As usual, Brett. And then I do promise that the guy who called into the that podcast and asked if, eating ass or whatever it was a good thing. Wasn't me. Wasn't this Derek. Just saying, even though it was spelled correctly.
Sure.
I already know that answer. I already know the answer.
Whatever you say, Derek. Yeah.
I already know the answer. All right. Anyhow, freaks will freak. Here we go. Speaking of that.
Hold on real quick. Cammy Cam says thumbnail looks like Brett after his first date. You get a little I'm a little forward at times.
Is he intimating that you got beat up by the girl that you dated? And she took advantage of you?
I made it forward, and I feel like vice versa is what he's saying. Is like I would be rather forward, and she was having none of it. Pop.
No, I would go with what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just assuming what he's saying.
You were like, "Hey, can we slow down? This is our first date," and she's like, "Fuck you!" And bam.
I like it rough. Bam.
And then she just mounts your ass, right? That's how you.
I walk into work next day. What the fuck happened to you? Ugh.
Dude,
it was a glorious night.
Rough first date. All right. Speaking of that, this is my porn. Something I noticed about porn.
Just say porn again, Derek. Let's hit that algorithm right up, man.
Something I noticed about adult films.
Porn.
What is the obsession? This is just, I just don't get it. So you're watching a GB, right? You know what that is, right?
It's the whole train. Yeah, I get you.
And what is it with it being better for the dudes to finish themselves than have the girls finish them? Do I really want to watch one where all the dudes just finish and then it's like, we talk about the bukkake thing. Like, no, I think that the woman has to be involved. She's just not an ornament they all spray on.
They just circle around her, and it's just you just stream after stream after stream.
Yeah, I don't understand that. What? She's got no involvement. She might as well be a statue of a woman at that point.
Dude, have you watched any of Shane Gillis's stuff?
No.
Comedian. He talks about something like this. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I was really I had this girlfriend. I was watching porn, and really wanted to finish on her face one night. And I thought it was gonna be really cool. I'm like, hey, let's do this. And she's like, okay. And then you do it, and then she gives that face when it hits her. It's like, and then you just sit there like, what did they just do? What did they just do? I'll go get you a towel.
Here, let me go. What toilet paper? I'm gonna go get you some toilet paper. We'll wipe that all off. And anyhow, I just don't understand that phenomena. And I noticed that it's not something as much that started like maybe 2000s. And it did happen before, but I think prior to that, there was more help involved, right? With that money shot, as they used to call it. Also, did you hear that Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston are allegedly dating? I mean, this is all over news and X. Well, apparently they're not in a good spot together in the relationship. I thought that was really kind of weird.
She's probably like him schmoozing up next to Trump, huh?
Why, she didn't show up, did she? That's kind of what people are saying. I think it's probably bullshit.
Oh, it's all 100. I would imagine it's bullshit. Yes.
By the way, the 69 of you that were here about a minute ago, congratulations. Thank you for coming, and giggity. Also, that birthright citizenship thing. There's one thing I have to say. You got to have birthright citizenship. I'm sorry. I know people will abuse it, but that's just a thing. You're born here. You're just American. That's just how it works. I mean, I know it can be abused. People pop over the border, have a baby, and go back. But I also know people who are Americans to go over Canada and pop out a baby and then come back too. So they have dual nationality. So it can be abused, but I don't know. I'm a believer in that.
Canada's got like a total population of about 600,000. They could take a couple extras.
They could use all the extra citizens possible. All right, that's really all I had there.
Steel for $4.99 says, Brett, we got Joe Bamba.
Yeah. Joe Bamba, who's that?
He's a winger from Celta Vigo.
Is he?
Yeah, he was. He was. We got him for like $2 million.
Oh, you're talking about Chicago?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about Chicago?
We're gonna bring up Chicago later on. You know what? We're already on Chicago, so I'm just gonna bring it up right now. Anyway.
Oh no, we're gonna start the show with Chicago news.
Kind of fluff, anyways. You know what? Edgar paid a good $4.99 for Chicago talk, so let's talk some Chicago, okay?
Chicago Fire.
I've already been.
You got to spread your misery to us. You got to spread your misery to the rest of us.
Just like the last 13, 14 seasons, I'm feeling optimistic about this one.
Yeah, that's how it worked out. How so far?
So far, so not great.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of promising signings we're getting. A lot of interest in playing the youths. The homegrowns.
Yeah.
So even if we do lose, we're saying, hey, we're benefiting U.S. soccer by playing our strongest young kids. I guess. Okay,
that's cool.
I got to look at the silver lining somewhere, there. Come on.
All right.
And again, I'm not shooting for the fucking stars here. I just want Chicago to make the fucking playoffs. Is it that hard? I mean, 90% of the teams make it already. Can't Chicago for once?
If you're around Chicago this long, it can't be hard. That's all I'm saying.
So
you got to be flaccid.
So apparently, along with Bamba, Chicago has signed a 15-year-old center midfielder, an actual attacking midfielder, from their academy. It's the second largest homegrown contract in MLS history. He's also the fourth youngest or something like that ever signed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the second 2010 homegrown academy player signed this year. Not for Chicago. The other one was LA Galaxy.
But his name is like a sanded turd. It's Turdine.
It's Turdine, yeah.
I can't.
He's 15, he's 5'7", $135. I mean, he's got some room to grow, personally. And he's not going to start this season by any means.
I mean, I don't know. His name just got me.
Yeah.
A sanded turd. I mean, that's a Turdine. I don't know. Kind of weird. We'll see how that works out for him. I would have dropped the N. No, I don't know what you do with that. Because if you drop the N and add a U on the back of that and go with Turdo, that doesn't sound much better. Yeah. All right. Well, that's just a detail. It's fine.
What his first name is? What is his first name again?
I hope it's not Dick.
No, it's a pretty common first name. It's like Steve or something like that.
Richard Turdine.
Yeah.
Anis Turdine.
So,
all right.
Just a little quick, immediate soccer fluff in there.
All right.
That wasn't really going to be a topic by any means. You got any more fluff before we jump into my fluff?
Dude, I am fluffless in Seattle tonight. I'm not even in Seattle. I'm just here in Fishers, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. And
I wouldn't go fluffing around in Seattle.
There's just not a lot of fluff, online right now.
You got to look for it. It's there.
I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it is. I get fluff every day at where I teach, right? I could bring some of that there. I just don't want to.
Probably don't want to.
Right.
I'm not sharing the stories of work. That's a great way to, get reprimanded there.
That's for sure.
You did what now?
You posted
you said
publicly
99 people who have gone down below and made sure they hit the like button, right?
You publicly posted about the girl at your school who's bragging about. Yeah, and I'm stopping there. All right. Yeah.
Flying a kite, right? That's what she's bragging about.
Yeah. Flying
a kite, Derek. Don't even go into innuendos there.
Yeah, I'm not going to. You're right. That's smart advice.
Yeah.
Dick turd.
Dick turd. Gotta watch out for that.
That's a bad blend. All right.
Happens though.
What do we got here?
Oh, we got the breakdown of the British Isles, the British Isles. Yeah, that's right.
A Euler diagram. Oh my God! Really?
Let me open a new tab.
There's the Isle of Man. That's where my dad's people are from. Look at that.
So I find this interesting because still going to be on kind of Chicago talk here. Fabrizio has mentioned how Chris Brady should be able to suit up for Scotland, and Scotland's pursuing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in that case, the young goalkeepers of the United States at that point are pretty cluttered. We'll see what happens with them in the long run, of course.
Right.
I'm obviously biased towards Brady, but, good for him if he is able to. But it shouldn't be that. You shouldn't have to look into it that hard.
Yeah.
It's not like well, my grandpa was Scottish. Well, that doesn't count. You don't get citizenship for that.
Yeah, you can if you're grandpa. You can if you just need one grandparent. Yeah.
With one, you have to be a citizen of the Great. You have to be a citizen of Great Britain first, foremost.
Oh, in order
to do that, your parents have to. One of your parents have been born in England. Or, sorry, Great Britain. Let me rephrase that. I don't even know if that's being England, obviously. But
what about Scotland? Can't they just be born in Scotland, which is a part of Great Britain?
Parents, yes. The parents could be, yes. So
what about the grandparents?
No, I just said that.
Are you 100% sure? Because I think you're wrong.
The citizenship. I looked it up, man. The citizens.
It's not about citizenship necessarily. It's about whether or not you're allowed to apply for a citizenship, and whether if you do have and they expedite that, by the way, if you're a soccer player. Okay. They do. They will expedite that. If they're like, oh yeah, we really want Brady and he had a Scottish grandmother, they'll figure out a way to expedite that and get him a fucking passport. It's not the same as becoming a citizen. The rules are different. Countries do that all the time. They're like, oh, we really need these guys. It's kind of like half the Qatar team, right? Oh, yeah. Suddenly, a country that's very, very strict about who they allow to become citizens is all of a sudden wide open about it when it comes to foreigners playing in their own domestic league who aren't Qatari remotely. Not even remotely. They don't even have Qatari grandmothers. They're just Brazilian and they've lived there for 4 years.
I wouldn't be surprised if they fudged the paperwork there on that side. But we're talking about Scotland and the UK at this point.
All right, I'm just saying what happens.
It's possible they could, but in order to get a 20-year-old goalkeeper, I mean that's pushing a lot of paperwork there for a potential. But you do have to become a British citizen first in order to have Scottish citizenship. In order to have British citizenship, you have to live in the UK for at least 5 years with an indefinite leave to remain. I don't know what that really means.
They don't even talk about grandparents, though. So you're just getting an overview. Like there are technicalities, serious technicalities that allow you to jump to the front of the box.
Let's just see here. I'm going to just do a quick Google search because that's the best way to find any information.
Sure, right. Can you become a Scottish citizen if you have Scottish grandparents? That should be the question, right? And I'm just telling you the answer is yes.
You can potentially become, is what it says.
Oh, yeah. And that's exactly what I'm saying.
There's wiggle room, I'm sure. I just don't think it's going to happen.
There's a whole lot more wiggle room than this AI is telling you about. Yeah, for sure.
AI scours the internet better than you, Derek.
No, but the AI is not as smart as I am.
How about that, Derek?
I'm sorry. AI is just what other humans tell it to look up and basically it's programmed, right? It's not going to actually.
You're programmed.
It's not going to get into gray areas and minutia because it's dealing in zeros and ones, which is why it said potentially. And that's all it's going to say.
Yeah. That's all you're saying, basically.
Well, I have examples.
Well, I guarantee you that's why they say potentially. The AI is not saying a definite.
Well, they didn't present any examples, did they?
Well, I didn't ask for any examples. I'm sure.
All right.
Right into it.
Damn it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
What is your point with this Euler's circle of jocularity?
Derek, it's fluff.
Oh, okay.
No point.
Isle of Man, baby. Shout out.
This just expresses who's part of the United Kingdom. Well, parts of Ireland, definitely Northern Ireland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's the British Islands? What are the British Isles? It's just it's a confusing segment of land. I
was really never that confused by this. Great Britain has always been Scotland, Wales, and England for as long as I've been alive. United Kingdom, and that the only inclusion there would be all the islands and then Northern Ireland, right? And then, of course, Ireland. Well, fuck. They're part of the British Isles, but they're their own thing, right?
Yeah.
They fought for that.
I've never heard of Jersey, by the way. I have no idea what the fuck that is. I don't know what the Guerns say. I don't know what the hell that is.
I believe the Nazis took either both or one of the two during World War II. One of those isles. They never took the Isle of Man because don't want to deal with those crazy Manx. Those crazy Manx motherfuckers who ride in that TT motorcycle race where 7 people die every year. Okay, it's an exaggeration, but like 3 people a year die in that race. So, all right,
suck, I guess. It happens.
They're nuts. They're crazy. That's what they are. They're absolutely out of their minds.
Let me see what fluff's coming up next.
Yes, Manx had its own language. I'm not sure how much they speak it anymore. You'd have to look that up, Spencer. I love their flag with the 3 legs. That's weird, but it's kind of weird in a good way. I love their flag. It's just kind of freaky weird. Anyhow, all right, what do we got next?
Alex says Jersey Island is close or is near France.
Okay, so it was Jersey that was invaded or taken over by the Germans. Okay, good.
I'm going to scroll up and look for Alex on this one because I feel like he's our resident Brit. And here we are talking about British citizenship and shit like that. And he hasn't said a goddamn word about it. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Regardless.
Which is why I was telling you my dad's Celtic and Viking as fuck. The Isle of Man remains Celtic. Yeah. Like, it's crazy how Celtic and Viking my dad is. It's insane almost. Like his bloodline. Like his ancestry report. It's insane. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Fair. No, that's fair. No, keep out of politics, LOL.
Okay, fair enough, Alex. All right, let's move on. What do we got?
All right. Anytime Derek, when's the next time you're going to attend a Sheffield wins a game?
I'm never going to.
I don't know, man. You see what you can get for £5?
When's the next time I'm going to even be in Sheffield? Like, never.
I'm just saying, when you see what you can get for £5 at one of their games, you might go there just for the food.
Very doubtful.
But here's the Philly cheesesteak.
I got a toothache back here, too, so I'm going easy on the food lately.
That's fair. You should probably go to the dentist.
I just haven't had time.
You should probably make time before it gets even worse. Toothache ends up if you don't get it taken care of, it will result in a root canal. To rip out that tooth, put a fake tooth in.
I don't care about any of that. All right, I think it's
it's a difference between like a couple $100 problem and a couple $1,000 problem.
Maybe, but I got insurance. All right.
Okay, so my bad.
It's pretty good.
It's the difference between like a couple $100 problem and an $800 problem.
I can afford it.
I'm just saying.
I can afford to wait. That's what I'm telling you.
Yourself some money, man.
$700, whatever. All right.
That could get you like 8 Belgian beers, dude. What are you talking about?
That's true. I don't know. I'm kind of loose with my money these days. All right.
Laverdot says, I can't see the picture. I don't want you to see the picture yet because I was prepping Derek for his trip to Sheffield Wednesday's game.
Yeah, it's just a horrible cheesesteak, I bet.
Oh no, dude, you're gonna get tickets to England.
Dude, you know this photo's gonna be ass. You know it. Show it.
Of course not.
It's gonna be ass. Yes, that's ass. I knew it was gonna be ass.
Look at that. What? am I looking at?
You don't eat that. That's disgusting. It's
The cheese isn't melted?
Barely. I mean, it just started melting.
Did they just go and heat it up that way?
Did they
What
throw
is that?
They threw bacon on it at least. It looks like bacon on top.
No, that's the roast beef. That's the beef.
No. Underneath that slice of roast beef, you can see some bacon jutting out from there.
Is that bacon? I think it's like peppers and shit, man. Look
You
at like
think
red peppers and
so?
onions. I think it's red peppers and onions, man.
That looks sickly.
It doesn't look good, does it?
Yeah. No, I'm not going there.
It looks like the stuff you'd patch a torn leathered couch with.
Yeah, something like that. It's not good. Yeah.
This looks like somebody ran over some animal with their bicycle in England.
Well, that's why you stick to the pot pies, right? If you're in England, don't go messing around with Philadelphia Philly cheesesteaks in Sheffield.
Even Alex goes, "What's that orange stuff?"
It's just it's not well done. They need to go do more research. They need to fly over.
Well, you know what? We had some nice Americans posting what a Philly cheesesteak should look like. You know, and they post this, you know?
Yeah, that
what
looks a lot better.
Cheesesteak looks like. Oh,
yeah.
You.
Yeah, that's a chopped cheese. Yep.
That's what you would expect.
Yep.
Take note, the cheese is melted. That looks like actual beef.
The meat's been chopped.
Yeah. There's onions in there. There's no random red sauce or whatever that Derek confused for bacon.
Right. And the only thing you get confused about is maybe the white stuff is sperm. But other than that, you're totally good to go.
Secret sauce, Derek, if you don't know.
It's tasty. It's salty. It's creamy. All right.
It's
what
a
else?
little special.
Seminal fluid. All right. What do we got next?
Oh my god! I mean, just
this is the Hope Solo special. Somebody said.
I mean, sometimes.
Did you hear that? Did you see it?
I posted it and said it, Derek. When you blew your
nose.
The
Hope Social.
Clearly, your ears turn off when you blow your nose.
You posted. This is the Hope Solo special.
Yeah, I clicked on it and it was up on our screen. Go back and rewatch it, man.
Did hopefully you didn't add her on Twitter on that.
I added her right now. Yeah.
Don't do that. We don't need Hope's wrath. Although certainly I've done the most to enrage her, but
and Derek, when Hope does actually meet up with you, you will look like Luna in the end.
Yeah, she's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. That was her though. Well, no, it's not. Her photos got leaked from the cloud. Her butt photos. Her butthole photos.
No, Derek, because I don't recall actually seeing those back in the day.
Oh, I sent them to you. Come on.
Do you actually see her face with her?
Yes.
Never mind.
Yep.
I was going for plausible deniability if you just saw an asshole. Like, that
nope.
could be anybody's asshole.
There's spread eagle, front of the mirror, butthole photos. I mean, she didn't want them released, obviously, but it changed my whole. Yeah. I thought, man, this could be sexy, and then I kind of left going, not so much. But Hope, I understand you had nothing to do with leaking your own nude photos.
Yeah.
So that was somebody who took it from the cloud. Bless your soul. All right, we love you here. D-Rec used to love you. I mean, he was spanking to you every other night.
Yeah, I'm just saying, maybe next time she does the photo, she showers or something like that beforehand.
Yeah, we should move on.
All right.
Move on.
Greg, she's the 0.1% of women that watches our show. Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
God damn it.
I like Hope Solo other than her abusive behaviors, her drunk driving, and her
Derek, you can fix her. You can fix her.
And her anal photos. She's great.
You can fix those too.
Other than that, she's spectacular. I really love her.
You pull out this entire list of this is what I don't like.
She is never coming on the show now. We were gonna have her on one time.
We're gonna get her. Don't worry.
Okay, sure.
If we can get Lawless after your epic rant on the show.
I didn't talk about Lawless's anal photos, of which don't exist.
You might as well. I mean, you said sperm and cum at least 5,000 times.
Yeah, I guess so. I said Ferrera cum all over the wall. All right.
Talk about a legitimate bukkake or something along those lines. I don't know. There's something in there.
I never used that during the raid or rant. Never said the word bukkake. I said
fair.
there's Ferrera jizz all over the wall because all they did was give this guy reach arounds during the pregame for Camp Cupcake. What was it? 3 years ago?
No, that was Gold Cup.
Gold Cup. C team. Yeah. They were giving reach arounds to all the players, but they gave a special 15-minute reach around to Ferrera
my best part of that, my most favorite part of that rant was when you started winding down and you could see the glint in my eye when you mentioned like a hat trick or whatever or something. Like, oh, Derek, how many times did they mention a double hat trick? Oh my gosh!
You got me going again.
Just they're poking that bear.
All right. All right, what you got in the cup, Brett?
And Stu Holden and an icicle too. Yeah, we'll talk about Stu Holden here in a second. That might you might be regurgitating the whole icicle in the eye thing here.
We might.
I drank my Evan Williams already.
He didn't mean that cup.
I know. I'm getting there.
No, the one you're wearing.
What's in that cup, huh?
You always wear a cup when you do the show.
Well, I mean, it helps my bulge.
Well, protects you. All right, forget it. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. All right,
you're off the wall. This is vodka and a raspberry lemonade ice.
Yeah. I am drinking once again. I'm not finished the 6-pack. A Leffe from Belgium. All right. There we go. 9.2. Yeah. I believe I said. Yeah. All right.
Some along those lines. Yeah.
No, 6.6. This is a lightweight.
What?
I know. Lazy motherfuckers. All right. What else we got?
Kevin Brenner says that's a great bear. I think he might say beer.
I think he's referring to me.
Say beer.
Wow,
he's going you bear.
I am a great bear. Ooh.
Hey.
All right, Kevin. We appreciate it.
Jack's Variety Show wants to know if we're drinking any of those Smirnoffs.
No.
Smirnoff ices?
No. Have
you ever been iced?
I have had an ice Smirnoff ice before.
No. Have you ever been iced?
I don't know what that means. You better tell me what that means.
You walk. It's basically somebody has strategically placed a Smirnoff ice in a place, and you walk around the corner, you see it, you've got to drink it. That's the game.
Is that already open?
No, but it's probably not cold.
Can you open it with the twist? You need an opener. I think it's a twist one.
I think it's twist. I mean, the only time I've ever drank an ice has been when I've been iced.
I've never been iced.
Somebody was mean enough to leave it on the back of a toilet. You're a bitch.
You don't know what they were doing.
You open up the bathroom door and it's right there. You're like, God, you motherfuckers.
That dude put that up there, took a shit, wiped his ass, grabbed the bottle, put it back down again, and then forgot it. Got up, put up his pants, left, and then you grabbed his shitty bottle.
Derek, he didn't pop the top with his asshole.
Still, you grabbed the bottle, and then later on, as you were drinking, you wiped your nose because it was runny. You got man butt on your hand.
Cool.
All right, let's move on.
All right, not necessarily U.S. men's national team transfer news, but I do want to bring this up because I don't know. It's kind of funny that Pulisic and Musa might be playing with Santi Jimenez.
Oh, really? Okay. Wet dream things for Mexican American fans, Mexican and American fans. AC Milan have prepared an official bid for Santiago Jimenez to test Feyenoord's position. Feyenoord are still firm. Ooh, they're firm.
Ooh, yeah.
Little blue pill action. They want to keep their stars as Hanko and Jimenez in January. Huge proposal or no chance. AC Milan want to try after encouragement from the player. Of course he's going to encourage this. And anybody thinking Reina is going to fucking AC Milan, you put the pipe away, folks. It ain't happening.
Seriously. All right? Yeah, rumor was the bid was like $40 million.
That's so high, and yet they won't they won't pay the $15 million that Dortmund want for Reyna. It's crazy.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. You could get a better striker for less than 40 mil.
Well, he can also play the CAM role they're lacking, right?
So complicit. What's your point?
Jimenez. I know, but that's what everybody at AC Milan, when you go to their accounts, they're all like, well, we need an attacking player to transition the ball from the midfield to the forwards. Well, I suppose Jimenez could do that. Reyna could certainly do it. They were talking about another player. I can't remember who it was that they were talking about. I don't think that Milan
which team was Rashford linked to?
AC Milan, but he's purely a winger or a striker, right? He's not a CAM. Okay, you're going to spend $40 million? No, Milan doesn't spend. No, they're not spending $40 million for Jimenez. It ain't happening.
It's all that $40 million rumor is also a far drop from the $100 million rumor to Real Madrid from years ago. But saying that, as an American fan, there was also a lot of rumors circling the rumor sphere, not believable, that Reyna was years ago before his injury, that Reyna was going to be following Bellingham over to Real Madrid as well. So
yeah,
we all have our pipe dreams, I guess.
Dude, how many of these that we deal with on a weekly basis are just so full of shit? And we call them out. We've got no credit for it, except for the people who watch the show who are probably like, they usually get it right. Actually, they almost always get it right. Like we do. So
have we actually been wrong on a transfer deal?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's fine for people like Fabrizio to sit there and post like, hey, they're expressing interest. Hey, they're going to put an official bid on there, because they're not saying that Santi Jimenez is going to AC Milan. They're saying, hey, there's interest at AC Milan. And you can't disprove that unless AC Milan says, dude, we've never been interested in this guy. Which will never happen anyway.
They're not going to say that, but they could, and they're not even going to come out and say $40 million. You got to be fucking kidding me. We're not spending that. By the way, Jack's Variety Show says, Derek, my fiancé just called you Santa, and Brett he called Sasquatch. Ow! I mean, he is closer to Sasquatch than me, being 6 foot, whatever the fuck you are. All right,
I do walk in that lumbering approach to arms swinging.
Yeah, and I'm a shrinking old man, so there you go.
You got the whole gray, beard thing going on.
Ho ho ho!
If you let your hair grow out, man, you might and dye your hair, because your hair doesn't match the.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
What do we call it?
Well, I'm not even getting into that. Do the drapes match the whatevers? Yeah,
carpet match the drapes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It'd be the carpet, right?
Yeah, it is the carpet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, all right. Moving on.
I mean, good luck to Jimenez for more ridiculous talk about him moving to clubs at ridiculous prices that they will never pay. You want to move to a club that's willing to just splash and squirt $40 million against the wall? Go try Chelsea. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only that, but ladies love Sasquatch and Santa.
Yes, they do. All right. Ho, ho, ho.
Okay, so we did.
For the 165 of you here now, we're hoping you get to 169. That's what we're striving for. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your stepsister or your fiance, since she's there. All right.
Or he's there.
Right. I like the Steve Zissou thing better, but I'll take Santa.
I like how you're going there. Yeah, sticking to it. We started talking about this already. So let's bring up the Stu Holden video.
Oh boy. I heard this was dumb.
It's like Stu watched Landon do it and say,
I'm going to one up you.
Wasn't that bad? I mean, I don't want that attention. Hey guys, look at me. That's what it sounds like to me. Oh my God. And he has the lawless talking point where it's like, hey, MLS is its own business, has no, what's good for MLS may not necessarily be good for U.S. soccer, but it doesn't matter because they're two separate entities, which is kind of not true. But he's preaching along the same talking points. But he's like, again, he looked at Donovan do it and be like, how can you look at that and say, I want to do that. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth.
Do these people realize how fucking annoying they sound?
Yeah.
Anyhow, Let's see what he
Well,
says.
if MLS wanted to make a big splash, I'd go for X, Y, and Z. Like, well, no, maybe X, Y, and Z want nothing to do with you for the next 10 years.
Well, we even had Max admit to us, okay, maybe after 2026. Remember?
Yeah, and that's a fair point. I mean, you're looking,
but
at
that's not what he started at, though.
Exactly. You're looking at players who are going to be 28, 29 years old, and maybe at that point they're looking at going, "Hey, maybe I do want that $10 million contract for the next 3 years of my life."
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So what did he say?
Let's see what he says.
Go get Pulisic. Go get McKennie. Go get Reyna. Like, go spend. You're gonna have to spend a lot of money, and it's gonna be shades of back in 2014. And you could.
How'd that turn out?
Yeah,
shades of
not
2014
good.
Turn out for us.
Yeah, them all coming back before their careers were really over in Europe, prematurely making the situation right. That was bad for U.S. soccer, especially Michael Bradley went backwards. And after one season, Altidore took a total turn in the wrong direction. And Dempsey is mostly that heart thing. And because I don't think he ever lost the grit, actually, I will say. He was the one guy that didn't come down. And JJ, I mean, God, whatever team he played for when he first got over here, the first two.
New England Revolution, I believe.
They went from shit teams to like playoff teams. That's what one player can do.
I keep telling you that every year for Chicago, but you keep saying it's a pipe.
Okay, you get JJ, the old JJ, on your team before he got old. And
I would happily take the current JJ on our team.
Yeah, I don't know how fit he'd be, but all right.
It doesn't matter. He's
I know he's a
pack of people.
Jermaine Jones is a badass, plain and simple. He made every team he played for until the very end better. But anyhow, he's just saying that. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
You could argue that's not the best thing for the national team, but what's best for the national team? What's best for MLS? These are independent. MLS is a business. The national team is about results, and it's also a business from a soccer.
So does he know these two bedmates do hang out quite a bit together?
They do this right here, actually.
Yeah, a lot of that.
They're
very close. In fact, Don Garber has been on the U.S. Soccer Board for 13 years. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on. They're both waxing each other's dolphins. They know that this is a horrible idea to bring McKennie and Pulisic and Reyna and Adams and whomever you want to list back to MLS 2 years or a year and a half before the World Cup. What a stupid idea. Like, why would you even go on a show and voice this? And I'm really surprised that Mossy is just laughing out loud here at this.
Well, I mean, he had to endure what Donovan said, so he's just sitting there going like, whatever. I heard this. It's promotion relegation, but for you, Derek.
Right.
Every time somebody mentions promotion relegation, you're just like, guys, come on.
Okay.
Really?
It might be better for MLS, but would it be a lot better, Leverdad, or would it be a little better? Because when I talk to casual fans, and that's who we got to win over, because the fans that are already there are already won over, right? And I guess you would win over a portion of the U.S. men's national team fanatics, but a lot of those fans would look at them coming to MLS as almost a treachery, a traitorous idea. And no, it's going to hurt the U.S. men's national team. They would hate this, and they would not tune in to watch it. I guarantee it. They would be outraged by this. So you're not going to win a lot of them over. You might win over some casuals who are like, oh, I heard of that McKennie guy one time. Oh, that Adams guy. Like, what, a handful? I don't really think it boosts MLS that much.
You might get some more viewership on the ones that are broadcasted on regular TV, not necessarily Apple TV. But
which are a few,
however many there are, I don't know.
Handful.
I have Apple, so I don't care about the ones that are broadcast on regular TV.
Not many. It's Fox. It's just Fox.
But as far as the games are concerned, I mean, I might like if Chicago went out and got like Pulisic or McKennie, I might go to a game or two.
But you already watched Chicago.
But
and follow.
Stimpy down the street who's a soccer fan, who likes playing the game and stuff like that. but not necessarily won't go to Chicago for them. So I mean, you're really appealing to people who know these players pretty damn well.
Are you talking about Stimpy, that guy down the road that has a booger collection?
Yeah, he's roommates with Ren.
That guy is annoying.
Yeah,
that's Stimpy, dude. Yeah. I don't know how much it would inflate MLS. I think it would definitely disappoint a whole corridor of U.S. men's national team fans who want to watch our guys play in Champions League and play on Champions League level teams. They would be, I think, extremely disappointed by all these players coming back to the United States playing MLS right before the most important tournament in U.S. soccer history since 94, right?
Sure.
So,
he's gonna bring it up now later here in just a few, actually.
Okay.
Where he talks about where does that guy play? Oh, he plays at Cincinnati. Where does that guy play? Oh, he plays in Miami. It would be more impressive and would probably draw more people into watching U.S. men's national team games if you say, that Matisse Albert, where does he play? Oh, he plays at Dortmund. Cool. Where does Pulisic play? He's playing for AC Milan. That's awesome. Those teams hold a little more merit than Chicago Fire. I'm just saying. So
a good example, I was texting with my brother. He's like, so U.S. is playing tonight against Costa Rica. And I texted him. He said, I'm going to place a bet on it. What should I do? And I said, dude, this is our C team. And they're playing against kind of a Costa Rica B/C team. I don't think I put any money on this necessarily. He's like, what do you mean? No Pulisic, no McKennie? It's like, yes, no Pulisic, no McKennie. My brother's a casual, but he wouldn't start watching MLS on a regular basis just because Pulisic came over. He watches U.S. soccer games. That's it. He's a casual, super casual, right?
So my dad is when he was younger, he played football and wrestling, the standard, type of stuff, no baseball or anything like that. But and he didn't get into soccer until me and my brother played soccer. And he's pretty big into soccer. He loves watching the games and stuff like that. He talks about it. He goes to all my kids' games and shit. But games like this, any national team game, for the most part, unless we go there and we sit down with him, for the most part, he'll catch up on the recap of whatever's in the paper. It's like, I saw U.S. beat Costa Rica. Yeah, the paper, man. He's old school, man. And there is actual coverage still in the sports section. It's surprising, I know.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, I see U.S. beat Costa Rica 3-0. I'm like, yeah, it was an okay game. It was a fun game to watch. It was like C team versus B team, and
yeah. I mean,
he would never know that Pulisic wasn't on the team unless I said something about it.
My parents, who very rarely miss an actual big boy U.S. men's national team game when I tell them when it's going to be on. My mom watches it religiously. Now, I hang out with my parents when they're here. They're not. They're in Florida now. But I visit them every weekend when they are in Indiana, in Noblesville. And I wake up in the morning, and what are my parents watching? EPL. And they don't care what match is on. They're watching Premier League soccer. And they used to get the Bundesliga. They used to watch that in the morning too. But so there's no other sports to them in the morning. That's what they watch, soccer. And my parents know so much about English soccer. It's ridiculous. My dad's a huge fan of Holland. Other than that, they're casuals. If you told them an MLS match was on, they go, what is that? Even though I've told them 1,000 times what MLS is, right? It's the first division of U.S. soccer. And when we started our own soccer team here in Indianapolis, they go, is that going to be in that, what's that league called? That's what they would say. I was like, you mean MLS? They go, yeah, that. Are they going to be in that? Yeah. No, sorry, they're in the NASL. NASL? Like, you mean back from the 80s and 70s? They knew that because they were around in New York when Pele and Beckenbauer came. And they used to go to those matches and took me to those matches because it was Beckenbauer and Pele, right? They knew those guys, but they know nothing about MLS. Absolutely zero. None. And no amount of Reina and McKenney and Adams coming to MLS would ever intrigue them enough to start watching. So there you go.
So I wanted to bring up this post by Colin here. He says, "Why do you guys keep accusing ex-players of advocating that our good players come back to MLS? They didn't say that. Can you guys not understand what they're saying? This is the third time." I will say that.
Oh my God!
Holden legitimately right now is saying that MLS should do this. I'm not saying that he's not saying the U.S. players should go to MLS. He's saying that MLS should actively pursue these players. But by even bringing this topic up, he's saying that there's even a myopic opportunity that MLS could persuade our key players who are playing on massive teams in Europe to come to MLS.
Why
even talk about it if it wasn't a possibility?
Why make the argument at all? Why bring it up? It's a stupid thing to bring up. And I'm sorry, but
MLS love Ronaldo and all these other key massive, ginormous players, but they're not going after them because they're not going after them. Neymar turned down Chicago, which is good for all parties involved here, because he's going back to his childhood club in Brazil.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to fucking Lawless writing an article saying that Pulisic should go to the Galaxy, right? He wrote an article about that. Lawless wrote an article.
I remember the Gio one. I don't remember the Pulisic one, though.
Was it Gio or Pulisic?
Gio. He said Gio should seriously contemplate going to MLS.
Okay, so he said it, right? He said it. And then we had Landon Donovan saying that Pulisic he should consider coming to the MLS instead of going to AC Milan. He said it.
Because playing time at AC Milan's not guaranteed, and going to play at LA Galaxy would be a guaranteed playing time leading into 2026. Yes. And
we've had some of these motherfuckers on our show. All right. And I can disagree with Lawless. And by the way, we do talk on occasion. It's not a problem. Like, I would disagree with whatever that article is. We can't remember at this point. And I would also say that Landon Donovan also said that Reyna should have started his career at MLS. For why? Why would he do that? Because he would get 200 games and not get injured? Like there's any fucking guarantee? Some people need to stop coddling their favorite players from the past. And when they say something like that's not right, they need to criticize those that are now critics, right? They're analysts. Like Jimmy Conrad and I had it out last week. And it's okay. Jimmy and I got over it. He called me out on his show. We reconnected on Twitter, and all was ironed out. And you know what? In the end, what did Jimmy say? You know what? Maybe I shouldn't really take Camp Cupcakes so personally. Maybe I do so much. I should probably back away from being the one leading the conversation on it. Okay, that's a win-win for us and Jimmy, and I think that's fair. So there we go.
So
yes, he did, Colin. Oh.
So no, here's legit what Donovan said. He goes, if Gio would have started his career, I think Gio should have started his career in MLS, and if he did, he would have 300 plus games at this point.
That's what he said.
That's almost
what he said. Go watch the fucking video. What the fuck?
Almost verbatim what he said. 100%.
Fucking word for word what he said.
I mean, it's one of those things where, again, Holden's
it's not a big deal, by the way. He's just wrong. And we don't hate Landon Donovan. We love Landon Donovan for what he's given U.S. soccer. And I was my son had posters of Landon Donovan on his wall, for Christ's sake. This isn't fucking personal. And that's what the problem is with you, Colin. Sometimes you don't get it. It's not personal. It's a disagreement on fucking things they analyze. We have our what we think is right, and they have what they think. Sometimes they collide, and it's okay. It's okay. And we're not misquoting him. We played his quote on our show, the Donovan quote. We played it. So don't tell us what we didn't see. We saw it. Jesus H. All right, enough of that. What else we got? We want to finish Stu?
Oh, no, yeah, we'll definitely do that, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
sometimes I think we're being trolled, but you and I both know Colin really believes what he says.
I'll happily spend time to go and get that quote, like word for word, what he said. And again, he's not saying that he should have started, but he's just saying simply, I think, maybe I actually did think he should have started. Because I think, I'm begin paraphrasing. I think he should have started him. If he did start his career in MLS, he'd have 300-plus games at this point.
He said
but then again, barring his injury, he would have 300-plus games at Dortmund, which is, I don't understand his overall argument.
Exactly. And he, by the way, not going to Dortmund would have been a catastrophically bad decision.
Yeah.
Because while healthy, he went straight to the first team practically. And then he got injured. What are you going to do? All right.
Standpoint, but it's the best of the best. And so you're taking a risk as a player if you come back. But if I feel I want to make a big splash before 26, I'd be in that owner's room. I'd be like, hey, guys, let's go get in that season leading up to 26. Let's get all the best stars of MLS.
So again, he's making an argument for MLS to do this. Like, not for MLS to do this, but if I were MLS, if I want to make this big splash, this is what I would do.
Correct.
And that's fine. But again, why even bring up the point if there's no possibility for it? Is Pulisic, is Gio, is McKinney, are any of them coming back in the summer? Because at that point, it's moot. Moot.
None of them are coming back in the first place, so this shouldn't even be a discussion. B, if any fucking halfwit in MLS thinks that's worth doing to sabotage, and he said it, okay, MLS and U.S. soccer are not the same thing. Okay, buddy, they're not the same thing exactly, but they're in bed together. I really don't think that Poach would like all his best players to come back from Europe and go play in Cincinnati, Austin, and fucking Portland. I don't think that's what anybody who's running that team wants to happen. And it's not going to happen. I don't even know why he's talking about it, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why recovering it's such a stupid idea.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's and I'm not saying this is why this is done, but it's very clickbaity in the sense that you post this, and it was cut down to a short because that's what we're watching right now. It's going to draw attention.
I guess it drew our attention.
The fact of the matter is, no key starter, no key 11 starter are going to come to MLS before 2026. That's not to say after 2026 that maybe McKinney's had enough of Juve's shenaniganry and will take up on that 10 to 12 to $15 million bid that some random club, whether it's FC Dallas, whether it's Houston, whether it's Miami, LA,
Pulisic's 28, 29. Yeah, sure. He might start considering that. Yep.
So it's very possible, but nobody's going to consider that beforehand. So why are we even talking about it?
It's a clickbait. It's clickbait.
Again, MLS, if MLS wants to make a splash, they'd go and get all these other big, massive players that are playing in Europe.
Go get Neymar. Go get Ronaldo. Go get Saha. Go get. There are all kinds of big names.
I jokingly.
Salah. Go get Salah.
Mo Salah is an option for Chicago, which that didn't pan out. It wasn't Mo, by the way, but still. There are bigger names out there besides Americans, and American fans aren't going to sit there and go like, "Oh, McKinney's in MLS. I'm going to go watch it now."
No, they won't.
But they'd be like, "Oh, Cristiano Ronaldo's coming in town. We see with Messi.
Yes.
Why wouldn't we see with some of the other big names too over our own players?"
Right.
So,
not even Ibrahimovic made that big of a difference in MLS. Remember when he came? It's Ibra, for fuck's sake. Not many people gave a fuck. I called my brother. Are you watching? I don't know who that is. He didn't know who he was. My parents don't know who Ibrahimovic is. They have a fucking clue, but they know who Ronaldo is. They know who Messi is. They knew who Pele was. They know the best of the best. They knew who Beckham was too. By the way, they knew Beckham.
There's nobody else out there that's going to have the draw that say a Messi or a Ronaldo will pull in for the amount of money you're going to spend. Yeah. You bring in Neymar, you'll bring in some some Brazilian fans that want to come see him. Yeah, a couple of American fans that want to go and see him too. You bring in a major Mexican player's name into the equation. Yeah, you're going to draw on a population of that group.
Yeah, but, like your boy Cuauhtemoc Blanco, right?
Yeah, Blanco did a massive
he
job.
Drew
Job for Chicago. Yes,
Chicharito will draw. Yeah, I mean, you got to be real specific about what you're doing here, but just bringing over any Dick, Harry, and John, like I said, Ibrahimovic, an amazing character, but not enough people really knew who he was. when he came over, it didn't blow up the stadiums.
I mean, San Diego's bringing in Luca De La Torre.
Oh yes, that's gonna have Luca De La Torre jizz flying left and right.
Derek, he was at a World Cup.
No one cares, Brett, and you know it.
I know, that's kind of my point. That's what I'm bringing.
All right,
for the 200,
we cracked 200. We're at 207. For those of you watching, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Thank you for being here on a Thursday after what was, a mostly flaccid outside of the goals Thursday or Wednesday game for the U.S. men's national team C team. We will cover that in a minute, and I promise we're going to be done with this stupidity here soon.
Yeah, there's always a vacuum of stupidity, right? There's always so much of it.
Yeah, well, in a vacuum, usually there's nothing. But in this case, there's stupidity along with nothingness.
Not referring to like the vacuum of space, but my vacuum upstairs has plenty of shit in there right now.
I know. Sorry, I'm bringing science into this.
Slav or not for $1.09 says McKinney to MLS would boost ranch dressing sales,
but not much. Not much. If he went to say Austin, he might boost the ranch sales in Austin slightly. But he'd have to do
is there a ranch company based in Austin?
I don't really know where. What is it? Hidden Valley. Where are they? Where's the headquarters? It doesn't matter. Wherever that is, that's the team that needs to buy them.
I'll tell you this much: there are no valleys in Texas. Period.
Wherever city the Hidden Valley headquarters is located in, or wherever the corporation runs out of, they should not only bring McKinney, they should sign him up and then sponsor the team and have Hidden Valley Ranch right on the crest, right under the crest. Sponsor the team shirts, right?
From the national team, bring them back to MLS so that we can say opening kickoff, United States playing at SoFi Stadium against whoever they get. When people are like, hey, where does that guy play? He's really good. He plays in Cincinnati. Where does that guy play? Miami. Where does that guy play? New York. The best American players play in America.
That worked really good back in the 80s and the 90s. The 90s and early 2000s.
In the year 2000.
The league was growing by leaps and bounds in the late 1990s because all the American players, or a lot of them, played right here in the United States. That just boosted the league completely. And then through the early 2000s, that whole Landon Donovan thing, that just completely pulsated and grew. MLS is a sport here because he managed to just stay here for a while until he went to Everton twice and Bayern before that. Come on. It's not going to do dick. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny infinitesimal bump. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I remember Dick's Mayonnaise.
I remember Dick's Mayonnaise.
Arguably one of my favorite mistake potential fake sponsors ever, man. Dick Mayo. Dick's Mayo.
It's Duke's, but I forgot. I thought it was Dick's Mayo.
I had two different versions of Duke's Mayo up there. I've never bought Duke's in my life until you brought this up.
Yeah.
Colin says, nice edit. Wasn't my edit. It was the edit by State of the Union podcast. So if there's missing context there, blame them, not me.
Yeah, they didn't post the full thing up there. Blame them. And listen, okay, this is nothing. We both were huge Stu Holden fans when he played, especially when he was at Bolton and he got his leg broken twice. All right, what a great player that guy is. As an analyst, he's delivered very minimally to the conversation, to the sport, over the years that he's been an analyst. He has provided the absolute fucking minimum of in-depth ideas and thinking. Like, where was all his criticism of Greg when this team played like a bunch of fucking robots? We got nothing from anybody about that except for those of us who are watching the system and watching it. Now we're getting it from the players. The players are finally talking about it. Oh, God, we love playing for Poach. He lets us do what we need. He lets us be creative. It's not about this pass, and then you got to go to that pass. They literally have said this in their quotes. This pass to that pass to this pass. They're being joystick people. We've been saying it for fucking the whole Berhalter era. They were being joysticked. And the joystick is off. It's done. It's over. Poach is letting them play.
Yeah.
And guys like Stu And even guys like Lawless, we had on a show, and we challenged him when he said this. Well, once you get on the field, you just do what you want. No, dude. Are you watching this team? Go watch our interview with Lawless when we had him here. Say, no, that's not true, Lawless. That's not. Lexi, no. Anyhow, it's totally, you're able to have an argument with somebody, even on your show, and you can't, I'm not going to let him get away with saying that. We disagree with him on that, and then we moved on to other things, but it is what it is. You got to provide more. I say Alexi at least provides, and he has been recently more on target and said smart things, lots of more smart things in the last year. I rarely hear much smart come out of Stu's mouth. Sorry, just don't. No offense. I know he's friends with Lawless. I think he was a great player, and I'm sure he's a wonderful gentleman and has a big penis. But other than that, it's not, it's just not, I'm not a fan of his as an analyst.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're done with that segment. Let's palate cleanser.
I don't know if I have one.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the next segment that we're going to talk about here, which is,
do not panic. Do not panic. Cap them now. Cap them now.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, by the way, I like that you posted that. We got no problems with Colin. All right? Colin's been watching the show for a long time. We appreciate his feedback. We just disagree. Not on everything. There are things that we actually agree with Colin on. But
and there may be moments where we disagree. And Derek and I are colorful folk.
Yes.
So there may be times where it comes off as hating or whatever, but we're just sitting there like, dude, wrong, But then he comes back and says, "No, you're wrong," and it's fine. We're back and forth.
Here's the difference. I harbor zero anger at Colin Reese. I go to bed at night. I don't think about it. If I'm done once this show's off the air, I could give two fucks and I move on with my life. Others, they get angry and they stay angry. And so that's what we need to move past here. Like, it's not personal. I'm sure Colin Reese is a fucking fabulous person. He's a smart guy. We just don't agree on everything. And he keeps coming at us and calling us names or whatever, but it's not like we call him names. I don't know.
It would be hypocritical if we couldn't take being called names after we call people names. I mean, it is what it is. Guys, Derek grew up in the 1880s. I understand it's well before everybody else's time. But I mean, I grew up in the actual 1980s, and it was different then. You could call your friends and other people just vulgar terms. And
for sure.
Be perfectly fine and go and get a Kool-Aid in 5 minutes. It's
Dude,
cool.
People call us on our show. They've called us fat. They've called us ugly. They've called you name it. It's over the last 3 years. We've been called lots of things. We laugh about it and then we move on. And that's how it's got to be.
Life, guys. Come on.
We know we're fat. All right. Anyhow,
Derek, I'm actually in the process of thinning out right now.
So am I.
It's a slow process, really slow process. But
I've lost 7 pounds in the last 2 weeks. So there you go.
I don't recall the last time I weighed myself. I have no idea. No. I gauge it on the belt buckle and how things fit. They're like, oh, this shirt feels better now. I feel like I'm losing some weight.
It's nice. I can actually stand up and still without my back hurting now. That's how I know I've lost weight for sure, right?
There you go.
And when I'm putting away the groceries or whatever in the kitchen,
as you're standing up,
it's mostly my back. As soon as I get 5 pounds too much, my back is suffering.
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, Boomer Richie and straight red card. Cap him now.
Cap him now. Cap him now.
Dual national midfielder Landon Imanolo has signed his first professional contract with Chelsea. The 17-year-old is featured 3 times for the U17s, but is now provisionally captied for England after playing in Euro U17 qualifying. Listen, I know he's provisionally captied. It's not over. If he ever amounts to a hill of beans, he'll still have a chance to play for the U.S. soccer and make his one-time switch. So we'll be fine.
It's all there. It's all there possible.
I wouldn't worry about him. It's definitely not a dual nat panic because he's already, played for England at this point. So
the panic's by the wayside at this point. Yeah.
The only thing you can hope for, and I hate to say this, is that he's a really good player, but he's just not really good enough to play for England.
What's the argument? We're sitting here going like, well, I hope he's really good, but I hope England has a lot better players.
Yeah, because
that kind of sucks to say.
If he's good enough to play for England, he ain't playing for us. Let's just put it that way.
Let's put it that way.
He will need to be dissed a couple of times, like Balogun.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he will
maybe Musa could sit there and make an argument. Hey, bro, it's pretty cool over here, man. They take us to zoos. I mean, you got to put up with
Gettysburg
coaching decisions here, but we got a better coach now. We're good. We're good now.
It's Poach now, so that's not the issue. Nobody who's joining us is just coming over because they're just pissed for being dissed. Now they're looking at us and going, not only am I a little upset by not be calling up, but God, I could play for Poach in that next World Cup. So,
in comparison, Greg Berhalter's taking the Chicago Fire players to the Chicago Aquarium, and saying, "Hey guys, remember those lionfishes and how poisonous they are? That's us. We're the lionfishes."
Oh God, Brett, you are taking that one way too far.
I'll keep going with it, man. It's going to be nonstop forever.
Lionfishes. Look at them dirty dogs, those African dogs. All right, yeah. Yep.
Remember those African dogs? I'm like,
we'll see what happens.
Greg, we don't say that. It's 21st century here, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I mean, the point being, there's a very good chance he won't be good enough for England, but good enough for us. Yeah. No, wait. There's a very good chance he won't be good enough for either. But
that's true too. That's all right.
Right.
You're playing the odds here. There's a good chance that he won't amount to Hill of Beans, and he'll be in League 2 before we know it.
Yeah, he'll be playing for Chelmsford.
Hey, I hope he just gets overlooked by England and he's a flat out baller.
He could be playing for Scunthorpe in 4 years. We don't know.
We don't know. Wait. Are you saying there are a lot of Chelsea players who have signed professional contracts that may not necessarily play for Chelsea in the long run?
Oh, you mean the Chelsea Army? Yeah. Have you called Matt Biazka and talked to him about it?
How'd that go? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not happy. All right.
All right. Good.
For the 270 of you who have been here.
270?
7.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you like, subscribe on both X and YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandma. We appreciate it. We're having a good time tonight. I don't know why. I seem to be.
We always have a good time. We're talking about.
I seem to be in a better mood than usual. All right, what are we doing?
You making up Mary Jane?
No,
shit.
but I did have a good before the show.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Clear mind. There's a clip out there of some skit that's like a post nut clarity, and it was a teacher, and the guy was like, the people are like asking questions. And every time they're like, "Hey, what's the speed velocity of an African swallow?" And he'd be like, go around the corner, and he'll come back after rubbing off things. He's like, post nut clarity, it's this pace. And after like the fourth and fifth question, you see him behind the curtain. And he's like, "Come on, I need to get there. Come on."
Jesus Christ! Oh man. All right,
I imagine all your takes are going to be great on the show, Derek. Thank you for that.
Probably. All right, we'll see how this goes. What else we got?
Moving on to our next segment.
Transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Everyone loves that transfer news.
Whatever, man. All right.
Randomly out of nowhere in some lulls. Transfer news. I don't care that it's playing perfectly on your end, man. On our end, it's like off.
I know it's so perfect on my end, and it's like totally out of sequence apparently on yours. Have we watched the playbacks of that to see if it's out of sequence on the YouTube version?
You're more than welcome to jump onto that tomorrow or after the show.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, Wolverhampton Wolves are keen on signing Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. What the fuck happened to Tottenham?
Doesn't Tottenham have first right of refusal, or aren't they buying into MLS rules at this point? Didn't they already like? Wasn't there already some kind of an agreement?
I thought so.
I thought there was too. So, but hey, there is strong interest. It's not going to be easy because they're going to have to outbid Tottenham or pay money to Tottenham. I don't know how it works out.
There's some prearranged deal. I don't like nobody knows the details of that. So it's not easy. That's a really weird way to put it. It ain't easy, but there is strong interest. It's not as easy. What the fuck does that fucking mean?
It's not going to be easy, Derek, because apparently Tottenham had placed some kind of provisional bid for 25 mil.
Well, yeah, then it's definitely not going to be easy because they're going to have to pay Tottenham some shit.
Hey, Tottenham, we'll pay you 30 mil. How about that? Tottenham's going to be like, wait, we just make $5 million out of nothing? Okay, cool.
I don't know that Wolverhampton are like the team that throws money all over like Chelsea or Tottenham. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess that is not easy.
That water is murky.
Mm-hmm.
Murky.
It's difference between making a toasted cheese sandwich and a well-grilled steak with lobster.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's fair.
Okay, Gavin Beavers has joined Brøndby IF from Real Salt Lake. He signs a contract with the Danish club until the summer of 2028. I think that's great. If you are Gavin Beavers, there are a lot of creeks and small rivers.
A lot of potential dams. Derek, he doesn't look like a vagina.
No, I was making him a beaver joke as in the animal.
And I was making a beaver joke as well.
And they also have a dense woodland in parts of Denmark where he could get back to doing what he did.
Photos of Gavin Beavers training.
So it would be perfect. They've got plenty of forests, plenty of streams and rivers for him to acclimate himself into as he acclimates himself to Brøndby. And I wish him the best. And I know we're making fun of his name, but Gavin, trust me, I work for a guy named Dick Butts. All right. It's not a big deal. And did I make fun of his name in front of his face? No, I didn't because he was paying me.
You waited till he left the room and then you made jokes.
Oh, I told everybody else I work for a guy named Dick Butts. But listen, Beavers is just a funny last name. I'm sorry.
It's Derek. I hate to tell you, but it's actually pronounced Butte, not Butt.
You talking about Butte, Montana?
There's a whose line is anyways joke there. He goes, it's Butte, not Butt, Montana.
No, it's definitely not Butt. Definitely not. So I wish Gavin Beavers the best, and I mean that sincerely.
His name was actually pronounced Beaver or something like that. I don't know.
Beavers. No, his last name's Beavers.
It's pronounced Dumas.
I think his parents should have named him Bangin'. I think that would have been great.
I mean, how many kids at his school gave him the whole? I mean, I know it's a woodchuck, but I mean, how much wood could Gavin Beavers chuck? Just go that way.
Oh, I'm sure. But there's so many great names you could have put in front of.
And I'm pretty sure talking about Gavin Beavers, I made this reference too, but there's an episode in How I Met Your Mother where they talk about Robin's in this Canadian math TV show, and she's like the main guy was like, oh, if Robin's beaver eats 6 inches of wood a night and Tony's beaver eats 8 inches of wood a night, how many days would it take them to eat 48 inches of wood, that type of thing? But
Jesus Christ. His parents should have named him Dixon Beavers. I think that would have been fabulous. Dixon Beavers. Yeah.
Present. Something you could actually rock,
You have the teacher, you're looking down at the all right, Molly Rivers here.
At least they didn't name him Harry. I'm just saying,
Dixon Beavers here. God, wow, that's crazy. All right, Leverett, Derek and Breck, did you see reporters asking Coach about recruiting Messi's young kids, but not about Brown or Chase? Yeah, we're still really disappointed about this. And we know some great reporters, but I do believe that our reporters were not there. I don't think Brian was there. Was
we're
he?
gonna have to watch the post pressers and stuff like that, and that might be our next couple of show topics. Because if that was really asked, I don't have words.
I believe it was really asked.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm not discrediting you or La Verdad at this point. I'm just saying if that was asked, I'm at a loss of words.
It's fucking stupidity. And I don't know if our Washington D.C. buddy was there either.
None of Messi's kids are American citizens. Period. At this point.
Yeah. So who cares? It's a stupid question. Meg wasn't there for sure. We know Meg wasn't there.
Right.
We know Lawrence wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know who these idiots are, but they're not the people that we know. Because I think Meg would ask about.
I think Brian's the only one that could have possibly been there.
Brian?
Shredder?
No, I don't think Brian was there for that.
I'm just saying, out of all the people we keep in contact with, I think he probably was the only one that would have been there.
I mean, at some point, one of the good guys is going to finally say, "What about Brown?" And I get it. Chase was benched for a while. He's back on the bench. I don't know what the punishment was. I don't know what he did. He had some bad games in a row. I get it. But I think Chase will be back. But not asking about Brown at this point is just near criminal reporting.
Ugh.
So criminal.
Absolutely stupid.
Yep. If you're not asking Pochettino, hey, are you keeping tabs on Nathaniel Brown? Then you're not doing your job. You're just not doing your job as a U.S. soccer journalist. You're not.
Mental Deity says that at some point, what's to say it'll ever get asked?
That's true. So I think what I'm going to do after this show is I'm going to message Doug McIntyre, since now we're such good friends, and ask him, when are you guys going to ask? I might even do it to Brian, even though he wasn't there, but I'll do it to all of them. Fuck it. I'm going to write them all and say, when are you guys going to ask? Because we know Meg doesn't get invited anymore.
Hey, Jeff, I know we're on great terms and all.
Yes.
But when are you going to ask the real questions?
Jeff, Carla, I wouldn't bother wasting my time on that. But I would the rest of them. The ones that I have some relationship with. And, they don't let Lawrence ask questions anymore either. So we can't.
Except for on the women's games. He's invited to ask questions at the women's
games. He was, because he's not a threat there. Because the women's team is actually, always a contender for being a winner, right?
Yeah.
But at this point, with Poach there, they shouldn't have that fear anymore because Poach can handle all the questions.
Can you imagine Lawrence being at the game? Hey, Emma, thanks for taking my question. I appreciate you being here and sacrificing your time. When will Poach reach out to Nathaniel Brown and Henri Chase?
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm even going to reach out to Larry Henry and say, what's up? Hey, I might even send Bogert. Don't Bogert that joint, my friend, a message.
Well, see,
somebody has to ask this fucking question, dude. Because with both Nathaniel Brown, Nathaniel Brown came straight up and said, I've never been contacted. This is a month ago. And then
a little over at this point, yeah.
A little more than a month now. And then Henri Chase in his whole interview said nothing about being contacted by U.S. Soccer. So there
he
you go.
wants to focus on his club game, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Hey, it's official, Derek. We could talk about it for weeks.
But I was right.
Maloney's joining FC Mines.
And I was, the funny thing when I said that many shows ago, was that I was just shooting out a shit name. I had no fucking clue. I was just guessing. I was like, I'm sure there's a team, and this is what I said, sure there's teams like Mines that would be interested in him. Little did I know that would actually happen. I love it when I get one right on accident. All right, cheers. Cheers to Maloney.
So the transfer is apparently less than $1 million. Man, I think Mines came out big on this one.
Yeah, they got a deal.
I mean,
but I'm sure his weekly salary is not small.
Sure, I would think so. I would hope that he probably took a pay increase.
Oh, he did.
So
I would guess he did. That's not going to be listed in the transfer fee, though.
No. Contract's until 2028. He's officially signed today. So he's on his way. Although he has a new haircut. I saw some new photos of him, man, and his hair is different.
You saw nude photos of him?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can't unlook at something. It's just like, ugh.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Right. No, good for Maloney. I'm sure he'll get some sort of playing time. And hey, Mainz, while you're at it, can you try him at center back?
Yeah.
Can somebody try that for us? Like
he'll play at center back, and coach will be like, "Wait, this kid can play center back?"
You know, he did it back in his youth days. He's a big mammal. Try him at center back. Just see what happens.
Ryan Shipley's also seen the nude photos, so they're making their rounds, man. They're making their rounds. I only sent them out to a couple people, so
again, pulled from the same cloud by the same motherfucker that got our girl Hope Solo.
So
all right.
Loverdot says assless chaps. I could see with him.
Well done, guys. All right.
Did Maloney have a massive cock? His work rate?
That's what we're implying. Yes, that's what we're implying. He's Malone.
I think you know what? Larry's been talking about that for months now, and that's the reason why U.S. Soccer hasn't really called him up, is because they're afraid of that. Apparently.
Yeah, they call him Leonard's Maloney. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Something along those lines, I'm sure.
Yeah, something like that. Well, good luck to him. I look forward to watching Mainz games now for the first time in my life.
Well, Derek, color me shocked.
All right. Dortmund.
Sahin's out.
We were saying this a couple weeks ago.
Oh, we've been talking about it. He definitely was on the hot seat. We just didn't know when the final date was going to be. Obviously, his loss in Champions League was the final nail in the coffin, I guess. My guess they were already in the works at that point. I mean, you can't be Dortmund and sitting in 10th place and not expecting to get shit canned.
And I love the fact that Sahin was his last game of the game before when they lost. He's like, we had a game plan.
Al won it.
Leonard Baloney. I love that Sahin's like, we had a game plan and none of them followed it. Well, dude, because everybody knew you were outskis. You were gone. Long nerd, Maloney. Maloney. This is good.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
He may have just got a new nickname.
He might have.
He'll make the camp and there'll be a sign out there like, what the fuck? They misspelled my name, guys.
We'll see how that goes for him. And it'll be like the whole Miazga kicking the dog thing, and it'll be Leonard Longcock Maloney.
I got to bring this up because some other people brought this up too. Just not non-listeners to the show too.
I don't think BMR thinks this though. He's laughing. He's got emojis.
Yeah, I don't know what the emojis are after that because they clearly aren't coming through.
I see them. They're laughing.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Why can't I see them? The fuck?
I don't know.
Whatever. I'll take your word for it.
You blind mother tickler.
No, mine comes off in squares. I mean, when I pull his comment up here, do you see laughing emojis?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Mother tickler.
I see three. I see three squares.
We're trying to keep the show clean, Brett.
Derek, we are way too far into the show for that.
I know. I just. All right. He's gone. We all knew he's going to be gone. The question is who they hire now. And then the other question is, well, Reyna needs to get the fuck out right now. He's not going anywhere. Sorry. We've been telling you this for a while.
The other positive here for Gio is that the new coach that's coming in is their like U19 and U21 coach for the past handful of years. So, I mean, clearly he knows Gio. Not that Gio really played for the U19s or U21s, but I'm sure he's fully familiar with him.
You know who's been tickling the Dortmund board's balls, though? Ten Hag.
Yeah, I heard it's in contention for the spot.
But he wants a longer team deal. He does not want term deal. He does not want to just be there to save them. So save them from what? I don't know. They're not going down, but He wants a long-term project. This is the worst Dortmund team I've seen in a long time, in a long stretch. Like, this is worse than Terzic. What Sahin brought in, what they were hoping for inspiration and playing more of the young guys and all that, he did not bring tactically. It's not surprising. Sahin has no real experience coaching a team this gigantic. And then he had players behind the scenes like Sabitzer sabotaging him, saying things, leaking shit to the press, talking to the board. Just like there was a bunch of the Dortmund players who went to the board last time when Terzic was there saying, we don't like this guy, we want him gone. And by the way, Reyna was never a part of any of those. People are like, oh, he's a disruptor. He's a horrible teammate.
He's got attitude problems.
He hates the coaches. The coaches hate him. Well, he was never one of the saboteurs. Not in German media and any of the German press I ever read. He was never included in that. So anyhow, you're just hoping for someone who will come in and recognize his talent. And then you're going to say to me, I know what you're going to say next. He did little to nothing, absolutely dick nothing in the last game he played. And he was too passive. So I've heard this commentary. First of all, they're kicking the ball over his head all game. They were going straight. They bypassed the midfield, Dortmund, the whole game.
Yeah, which every single game he's been in, like a starter, not necessarily coming in for like the last 15 minutes or less, but every game that he started in, him in the midfield got like little to no touches, and they just played down the wings and they played over top the entire fucking game. And that's not how Dortmund played in the past. You bring up the people like, oh, he's too timid and everything, but from what I've seen of Gio on those minutes, I didn't get to watch the Champions League game by any means, so I can't comment on that by any means. But all the other games, his time at Forest, all those minutes that he got there, when he played, and people were like, oh, he's too timid. He was playing Dortmund ball, which is moving the ball around, getting into positions. But the problem is not everybody else is getting into the right positions in the end. Yeah, like he'll make the quick one-touch pass over here, and he'll move over here, but the ball never comes back.
In this particular Champions League game, you're asking him, when I hear he was too passive when he finally did get the ball. I'm sorry, go watch the footage. Every time he had the ball, he was either cornered or he had three guys around him because the other team was getting back into their block. And by the way, to give Dortmund credit, or the midfield credit, Dortmund, when they were in the lead and through the game, even though they were playing a lot of defense, Reyna was not a liability. He was where he was supposed to be. Was he stealing a lot of balls? But no, positionally, he was perfect. He wasn't lazy. He got back to where he needed to be. The whole team sucked on the offense. They all sucked. All of them. I can't think of a single player on Dortmund where I went, well, that one guy had a good game. No, the whole fucking team sucked. And so if you're expecting Reyna to raise what is a whole major team mediocre, performance, like so he can claim his spot as a starter going forward, this probably wasn't the game that was going to be able to happen. Because if he did try to take on players, 2 or 3 players to get out of the clutches of where he usually was once he got possession, he's going to lose it half the time. Too many guys to pass. So
in comparison to this situation, I made the argument that a lot of the times he was playing the games that I've watched, it looks like he's still trying to play Dortmund ball. The problem is Dortmund's not playing Dortmund ball.
Not anymore.
He was there with Bellingham and
Holland,
and how it was just tick, 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 tick all around the pitch and everything like that. And they just controlled 90% of the game. It's not like that anymore. And you can sit there and say, well, then Gio, you got to realize that you're not playing the same game that you guys once played beforehand. You need to alter your game, and you can take into consideration like what we saw from Luna in this Camp Cupcake as we about to transition into that topic. And Luna would literally, dribble at the players and move and create opportunities rather than trying to just make the easy passes and move around the ball and the pitch and everything. So it's just maybe the fault on Gio in this situation is he's got to adjust his game because the game has changed for him or for the team.
I will say this, Labradad. In this game we're talking about here in Champions League, Reyna got back. He was positionally pretty much on he was on par the whole game. And I did not see a lazy Reyna in this game. If you want to talk about Brandt, there's another player at Dortmund who's a good player, but he can't even lift this team.
Well,
he can't. This team is in a horrible spot. They are horrible right now. They have no fucking identity at all. The old Dortmund identity is gone. I don't even recognize his team anymore.
It's not the same team. That's the problem.
Yep.
And they're still the board and everybody else is still looking at the team as if it's the same team, but they don't have the same playing style. They don't have the same style, the type of players on the pitch. And I mentioned this Monday or maybe last week or whatever about Brandt. Brandt's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him by any means. But yeah, he's been non-existent for the team for the last couple of games.
Yeah, it's been bad.
It's not overall his fault. The team itself is in shambles.
They've lost all their confidence. They don't believe in Sahin, which is why he was fired. And there are, in the Dortmund local press, there are articles out about how Sahin's too easy on the players. He's not authoritative enough, and they take him for granted. And, he's not a ball puncher, like as in sense that you don't do your job, I'm going to punch you in your nutsack. And they need something like that. Like they really do. And I don't think Ten Hag is the answer at all. That guy is a excuse maker. They need somebody more solid. Yeah, let's see. A guy who takes teams that are on the down and brings them back up. How about Matarazzo? How about the
It'll never happen.
How about the ex-Dortmund guy, David Wagner? How about David Wagner?
Just trying to sit here and think about who could possibly get Dortmund back to the Dortmund ways.
I think David Wagner could. David Wagner's been given shit teams to coach since he coached in the EPL. Okay, since he took a championship team up to the EPL. And then finally they were having a bad season, his second season in the EPL, and then he was fired. And since then he's got to coach jack crap for teams.
Yeah.
And he had a good season with Norwich, almost got them promoted, and then got fired for that. What the fuck is that?
It was quite harsh. Yeah. They were running off of emotions after losing 4-0 to Leeds. So it's like I don't understand it, but I see where they're coming from. And they're like, oh, you get out of here. But I'm like sitting there like, without his number one striker, he got you guys into the fucking playoffs.
So
what just about here?
I hope people know my Matarazzo thing was a joke. Number one, I'm joking. I don't think he's going to be offered the job. I don't think there's a chance in hell that's happening. But I think that Wagner, with his connections to Dortmund and his experience in the Premier League when he took a team from the Championship to the Premier League and really hasn't had, like, if you take young boys, it's like that's a serious job, I guess. But he got fired from that too. I don't know. It would be like Wagner's last destination, because if he fails again, he's probably gone for good, right? But he has connections there. And if they want to give somebody a chance for the rest of the season and say you're the interim manager for the rest of the season instead of the youth coach guy, they might try that. And he is, of course, he's a Dortmund guy through and through. That's where he came up as a coach behind Liverpool's ex-coach. God damn it. Help me out. German guy.
Jurgen Klopp.
Thank you. Fucking hell. My brain's broken. All right. Yes. So, he was good friends with Klopp. Maybe that'll help. Who knows? Anyhow, I'd be shocked if Wagner got the job, but I just don't. Not Ten Hag, please. No. Not after what he did.
I feel like they just got to get back to the old ways of having a very young squad in the attack, obviously aged in the defense, so that they don't leak in stupid goals. But you have a young, eager offense, and just let them play. I mean, shouldn't be too hard.
You're going to have to rebuild an identity there because they don't have any. I don't know what they're doing out there. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
So, all right, next.
All right. Well, we're going to bounce into our main topic. Despite the fact that we have so many tabs still up, we have a lot of stuff to talk about Camp Cupcake.
Holy jisms. Really?
Yeah, really, really.
All right.
So hold on here. So.
Oh, for the 232 of you here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. We probably usually we don't make it to 300 usually on Thursdays, but who knows? We can hold out hope, right? Usually Mondays we make it to 300 or very close to it or over it. Sometimes way beyond it, but we get it. It's Thursday. Not a lot to talk about. I mean, for us, we're still going to make this a 2-hour show somehow because we're fucking idiots.
It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed, Eric.
Yeah.
So real quick, the way I want to break this segment down is I want to talk about the goals first in the game against Costa Rica.
Okay.
We'll talk. We have a couple of sound bites and things about Poach talking about Luna and his elbow to the face and how he wanted to continue playing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about a couple other things and then eventually break down into the winners and losers of the camp in the end. We'll talk about the game itself as a whole.
I'm not going to linger on this very long, but
about what?
I'm going to for most of this is going to be easy. It's going to be in out comments.
Oh, sure. When we get to that point, yeah.
All right.
So first off, the first goal that came. So basically, for those who didn't watch, Luna took an elbow to the face. Massive elbow. You can look on the thumbnail. You can see what the after effect of it all.
It broke his nose.
Yeah, he went off the pitch getting treatment, and Poach came over to talk to him, and Luna basically said, "Coach, don't take me out. Let me get back in there and continue playing."
Yes.
He got little things.
Oh, I hated watching that. Yes.
I'm just saying. The funny thing is, my son was like, "Did he have a bloody nose?" I'm like, "No, he had his nose broken." First off, but I couldn't imagine trying to run around the pitch an actual international game with your nose clogged.
I know, breathing through your mouth. Talk about mouth breather.
Oh my God.
And not only that, if anybody's had their nose punched before, it is so fucking painful. And then if you have
I can't breathe that hole in my nose right now, and I can only imagine what he was doing in that game.
Or both of us have that sinus shit, but I didn't as a kid. But if you have a broken nose and somebody even taps that shit, it sends like nerve pains through your whole fucking skull, and you want to fucking kill yourself. It's so painful, right? It's horrible. So give him the big balls award.
The reset of the nose happened. He got a little cotton thing shoved up his nose, and he went back out there. And what did he do? Almost on his very first touch back in the game,
assist.
Yeah, Moonboy as a man on a mission. He had a beautiful vision for the assist. Basically, he split like 3 guys as Brian White cut across the box. Brian White, to his credit, had a nice first touch and then a great left foot across the far post.
Okay, but that's great for Brian White, but then he also missed a sitter later, and he also had a horrible first touch when he should have taken it first time. Anyhow.
Are you talking about this play right here?
Brian White? Yes.
Yeah. So Miljevic
with a good pass.
Plays a nice little ball across. Now, Derek, this ball's coming across. You're a right footer. I'm assuming, actually, I don't know if Brian's right footer or not. He ends up taking the shot right footed in the end, but so I'm
he's a right footer. He's right.
Ball's going across. What are you doing? What are you going to do with this?
I'm setting it up to my right foot for a one-time shot.
I'm waiting for that ball to go right across my body, and I'm just shooting it. Just putting it away. You can use the inside of your foot. You can use your laces, whatever the fuck you want at this point. You have near post wide open. All you had to do is just place that near post from the get-go.
You could do your left too if you have competence, right? And he should be competent enough to tap that in with his left into the right corner of the goal. First time. But he's not even postured to shoot. Look at him. He's not even postured to shoot that with his left or his right. Doesn't even bother to even think about that as an option. He's definitely one touching. And then his one touch, his first touch is so egregious. It's so egregious. It takes him even wider.
So Colin said it's actually not a good pass. I'm pulling this back to take a look. He does have to kind of stop and slow down here.
True, but right here, look at this when he receives it. He's still got plenty of space to take that shot first time. But then his first touch is horrible.
That was his little touch right there. I mean, we had the defense had, where is it at? Right? So right here. This is what it was like when he made the initial touch.
By the way, Colin, I'm not saying Brian White is not good. Obviously, since we've talked about Brian White a million times on this show, that he's the only regular center forward who, for the last 2 seasons, scores regularly for his club team in MLS. We don't hate Brian White. We're saying this particular goal was a bad decision on his part. Just happens. It happens.
Yeah.
You got to call it out. I'm sorry.
Save the ball. I mean, because when I talked to Derek during the game, I said I would have let that ball go across and rip with my right foot. But, maybe going back and looking at this, maybe he does have to kind of square up to receive it, and it's not necessarily in the perfect position. But that first touch right here is just
agreed,
not good, because the defense and the goalkeeper completely shut him down at that point.
It's way too far in front of him. It was way too far to the right. And listen, for me, and you've talked about this a lot on the show, you got to have 2 feet. That is a clear left-footed finish one time. Clear. That's day.
That's true. That could have been a left-footed, curl back to the far post at this point. Man, I know the goalkeeper was on that post too.
You could have got him near side at this point. If you back it up, boom, you got him near side with the left. Right there. Because that's where you take it. Right there. Left-footed.
And even then, ideally, you probably could have just taken it left-footed to the far post, because the goalkeeper's naturally going to be shifting to the near post, and you're going to catch him off guard regardless.
Dude, you should be able to hammer that fucker in the right corner.
Yeah.
On the ground. Right?
So
goalkeeper ain't getting that.
Like I mentioned in his first goal, he had a nice first touch. He slotted it home with his left foot. It was a good goal. And he had a couple blunders. We're just saying that. I mean, it is what it is.
His goal was great.
We're not saying he's an awful player. As Derek mentioned earlier, we're one of the few people that actually talked about him over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every time Camp Cupcake comes up, we're sitting there going like, why isn't Brian Weiss getting playing time? Why isn't he playing over here? I mean, I think he was included last window.
But that was a year ago and 2 years ago. But now he's being included. And, we were, like I said on Twitter, I'd love to see Brian White play his last game in U.S. men's national team colors with a brace. And sure as shit, he should have had actually a hat trick. And he blew it. He blew 2 other ones.
It's a shame. It wasn't the only player who made mistakes throughout the match.
Yep.
Which is fine. It happens.
Okay. Yep. All right. That's Brian White.
The second goal occurred after that. Anelli, is that pronounced that properly? Is it Anelli?
Yep.
Okay. Anelli with a nice interception and a pass backwards.
I know it's not Anelli.
Anelli, yeah.
Anally.
But yeah, he made a nice interception. He got took it down towards the byline and made a nice little pass back towards the spot where Clark had a great finish just outside the box. Typical.
By the way, should I just ask you this on that last White miss?
Sure.
You would have taken that left-footed, right? No problem.
I guess in hindsight, I initially said from the get-go that I would have let it go across my body and take it with my right, but after looking at the play itself, it was sort of behind him. He did have to square up to the ball and slow down. So yes, left foot would have been the option, and I would have taken that because my left foot was always for placement, where my right foot was always power. But I probably scored just as many goals with my left foot than I did with my right foot.
That's what I'm saying. And you played back in the 2000s, 90s.
The early 2000s, yeah. Well, the late 90s, early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And they were doing that back then, 2 feet.
Yeah, well, no, I was doing that back
then. Yeah, I agree. Not everybody else was.
On my team, there were plenty of just one-footed players.
Ask me to take a corner kick with my left, and I'd say, nah, I think I'll pass.
Well, yeah, my left-footed corner kick for me would not be great. I could get it into the box.
I could get it there, but it would not be great. Yes.
Yeah.
No. All right.
So Clark's goal was a typical banger. Clark only seems to finish type of banger goals.
But can we say this about Clark? Because we also have been bringing up Clark this season, right? This past MLS season.
Well, you have definitely. I didn't follow him at all.
And the only reason we brought him up was because I had pronounced his U.S. men's national team, big boy team career over. Yeah. And it's probably still over, but I want to give him credit where credit's due. not only did he have a great MLS season, he earned this spot to Camp Cupcake, and he made it true. So good for Caden Clark. I want to give him props. And even though I said my belief is he'll never play for the big boy team, is there light at the end of the tunnel? There might be a crack, but he will have to continue to dominate and play great in MLS and become one of the better players in MLS at his position. Then he'll have to go to Europe, where he's already gone, and they puked him out and sent him back, right? They said, no, you're not good enough.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm just getting some things lined up here real quick. Okay, here we go. Let me just make sure everything's lined up here. Nope. Okay. All right. So, says, hey, missed the beginning of the show. Did you guys cover Alexi kind of cooking Pete on Twitter?
Whoa!
I had to pull it up.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, it took a second there just to pull it up and place it where I want to cover it at. Yeah. No, BMR, we have not covered that yet because it has to do with the Camp Cupcake, basically. So,
I got to say this before you get there.
Sure.
And it's not Alexi, by the way, who sends me these things. I get privately messaged all the time, still, from people who say, why are you guys friends with Pete and Tact? And I'm just still to this day baffled. Like, what have they honestly said that has been so horrible? And these are more mainstream people, reporters that we've known, because we've been here a long time. Why do you associate yourself with them? I'm like, are you kidding? Like, they cover the sport with extreme passion. Do they sometimes say really mean things?
Oh, they can be rude.
Sure. But then Lawless did call Tack soulless, right?
Fair too, yeah.
Which is like, it's not just one-sided, okay? And now I guess Lawless or whoever this is going after Pete.
No, I mean, Pete said something and Lawless clapped back.
It's not surprising.
We'll get to that very shortly here. And finally, the third and final goal. It was a nice outside of the right foot by Jones to set up Aguiman, who rocketed it with his left. What a rip of a shot, first off.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, he's a physical specimen, and we talked about this last show. Aguiman is a physical specimen. He's technically very deficient. He can't hold up the ball. He's not regularly a good passer. He can run the lanes, baby. And he's a gazelle, a large gazelle.
Yeah.
And he finished pretty good. But at 24, I don't think his technical ability is going to get much better. So, I mean,
that's basically what Max said as well. Basically saying that he lacks the technical aspect of the game.
Oh, did he?
Some of those lines. I mean, I don't misquote him. Let me pull it up here. Go and keep talking about him.
No, I think you mentioned that before the show that he was critical. I think that's fair based on what we saw. That doesn't mean that he can't score goals. I mean, we always said when Pete and Tack were crushing the homeboy at Orlando, Duncan McGuire, we would bring up, like, who had a lot of deficiencies as far as technical ability, speed, whatever. We would bring up Brian McBride, who certainly had some technical deficiencies. But the great thing about McBride was he knew his strengths and he played to his strengths. He knew get in the box, find the right spot, get my head on the ball, get it in the goal, be there for the tap in, right? He wasn't going to blow by anybody. McBride knew it. He said it in interviews. I wasn't blowing by anybody, and I knew that. So I just tried my best. And so for a guy like Aubameyang, who doesn't maybe need to add a whole lot of Aubameyang doesn't have to add a whole lot of new technical genius to his game, because I don't know how many guys he's going to blow by with by faking him out and out dribbling him. But if he could figure out a way to hook up with somebody like McBride over the summer, just hire McBride, teach me how to hold up the ball and distribute.
Yeah, we talked about that at the end of our recap. Yeah,
he could be something dangerous. He could be a player who could go to Europe if he could learn the basic skill of holding up the ball, distributing, and getting the offense forward. If he could get that, there's something there, because he's got the size, he's got the speed, he's a good finisher, but he's just missing too many parts right now.
Or if he's looking at like a winger role of a 4-3-3, basically a pace merchant on the sides, he can do that very well too. I mean, a less technical version of, say, like a Pulisic in that sense, or even just a Weah for that matter.
What annoyed me about Jimmy Show, sorry, Jimmy. I keep picking on Jimmy Conrad and his show because it's not just him. But they were like, okay, Augie gives you something we don't have, size. I'm sorry. Is he a large mammal? Yes. But it's not like Haji Wright is some shrinking fucking violet.
I was about to bring up Haji, yeah.
Vasquez is not a tiny man.
Haji's 6'3".
Sergeant 6'2". What are we talking about here? It's not like we got a bunch of fucking midgets playing center forward for our fucking teams abroad. I don't get it. He adds size?
Yeah.
I'll add size. Okay.
I haven't seen Augie as an aerial threat, though.
And that's the other thing. He's not even a guy who's proven necessarily in his MLS career and even here that he is a guy in the box that'll give you the punter, the easy punter, or the header. Like, is heading his thing? Is he scoring ton shits of headers? I don't know. You tell me. I didn't watch his MLS career, but I was watching other people, Twitter people commenting, well, where are all his goals in the box then off of headers? I don't know where they are. But I do know that if he could add that and he can add hold-up play to his game, that's a guy that a lot of teams in Europe would like. A point striker, a big fucking body, a Daryl DK plus 2 inches, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, judgmental beauty, and this is where you came up with that. But yeah, Max was more reasonable than Jimmy or Charlie. So Max says Aguiman does not have technical qualities.
I agree.
Sure, you can teach him it at the age of 21 or 24. Yeah. I mean, he does have size, strengths, and runs downhill. Qualities that cannot be taught. He has earned a longer look for the U.S. men's national team.
Wait a minute.
He's a physical specimen up top, is what you're saying.
He just hammered in the balls twice and then brushed his balls gently 3 times. And you're going to say he earned a longer look? He earns a longer look by improving on his weaknesses. And I do think technically he's not going to get much better, but I do think you can teach a guy to hold up the ball with your body. And I don't think that is like a really serious technical advancement. You know, he's never going to.
It's going to take a lot of work, though, because if you're not used to somebody pressing up against you while you're trying to hold them off, I mean, that's something you can pick up. Absolutely. It's a physical trait. It absolutely is a physical trait. You can pick that up. It's not like being able to, trap a ball,
You see a lot of players who aren't technically gifted, but they're large mammals who are able to do that, right? Yeah. So you can teach a guy who's not super technically gifted to use his butt to back his way and hold on and shield the ball. You can. It's not difficult. That is something that is doable over hire McBride for 6 months. He'll get it done. He will show him.
Bring Brian Ching in.
Or Ching. Ching's great at that too.
Connor Casey. All these guys could teach you how to do that.
Yep. Connor Casey.
That's what they were. I mean, they were the physical specimens up top that were hold up the play and bring the rest of the team up into the attack.
All guys Josie should have hired.
Yeah, exactly.
In his career. Kevin Brenner. He never trained when he was a kid was a
As
kid
a technical player.
as a technical player. I bet he was always the fastest player on the field and just ran with the ball and scored. Yeah, that's what it looks like, doesn't it? It does. It does. He's not technical, but boy, he could learn to use his physical gift better.
Yeah.
In the box and holding the ball. Yes.
And that's another thing people always talk about, like, oh, why do you always label these players as just physical specimens? There's so much more than that. I'm like, well, no, some of them are just legit physical freaks.
Yes, that's it.
Like they can outpace you. They know how to shoot the ball. And I'm not saying that he doesn't know how to shoot the ball. He clearly knows how to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And all he has to do is just get around your ass. He doesn't have to do any fancy footwork or, make a nice little touch here, do this. Sometimes it's just physically getting past the man. That's all it is. There's a hefty chunk of the game for that matter alone. And by saying he's a physical specimen isn't a negative. It's not a negative. It is just saying, hey, at this part of the game, you are excelling.
Right. So he just needs to work on some of his weaknesses that have nothing to do with technicality. And by the way, technicality, when we're talking about dribbling straight forward, he's fine. But left and right, not so good. And that's probably not going to get fixed. But he can at least learn how to turn his big ass around and face his away from the goal, take a ball, or in a clearance, take a ball off his chest down to his feet and find someone. Just find somebody to distribute to. Like, you can teach that. That's not super technical.
And it's not going to alter his game as a whole, quite frankly. Because he's going to play as an island striker for a hefty chunk of his professional career.
It would take him from being a guy who's only going to play in MLS the rest of his career to a guy that would play for a Norwich or a Leeds in the Champions League to possibly being a target striker for a really shitty team in the EPL.
Or I'm saying if he could learn how to hold up the ball, he could play in Bundesliga. He's got the pace, he's got the physical aspect of the game. He can shoot on goal. He just needs to learn to be more physical. Oddly enough, as we're talking about his physical aspects of the game, and we're like, hey, dude, you need to be more physical.
He's a PFOC with more speed but less technicality, not as good in the box, but PFOC at his best, and not necessarily an in-box like sniffer of goals.
Yeah,
he could add all those things. He could add, because PFOC's good with his back to goal and distribution. So he's not even as good as PFOC. So people saying, oh, he just put him ahead of PFOC and no, he's not even as good as PFOC, even though PFOC is suffering through probably one of the worst seasons in his professional career, right? For a long time. So
I agree right now.
Yep.
All right. So we got a post-game just interview, I guess, with the TNT group.
Yeah.
Which I've got to tell you, I like the TNT group.
I do too. They got a sense of humor. They're loose because nobody's watching.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair, Derek. But I mean, I feel like as far as I'm concerned, I think they're just I think you best described it best. They're loose. And when they're loose, they can become kind of authentic because you can kind of jokingly say stuff, or you can say stuff. I mean, I know last Camp Cupcake, they had mentioned that, hey guys, this is like a C squad at best. It's just an all MLS squad. They even talked about it because I remember texting you saying, I can't believe they just said that. They said what we're all saying that nobody else wants to say.
Right.
So,
Beasley, who Indiana native, shout out Hoosier.
Yep.
And then Kyle, who I don't know why he ever lost his job, but he did, and now he's there.
TNT's win, I guess.
Well, Kyle's, by the way, a guy who almost came on our show back in 2012. I had long talks with him about it. Never happened, but something we talked about.
Maybe
I like the openness and the authentic sort of nature of this interview. Yeah.
So, even Poach's response in it is just sort of loose and authentic.
Well, because they came off that way, so he felt he could do. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. So let's see what they say.
Let you go. I have to ask you, when Diego Luna came over to you and he's bleeding from the nose and they're resetting his nose, what did he say to you about wanting to stay in the game? What did you say to him?
I was very surprised because it was broke,
But we might want to give this applause. This is like one of those sneaker uppers where TNT kicks us right in the testicles, and we never saw it coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. John says Kyle Banks, the babysitter, Martino. Is that a rumor?
18 plus, right? Whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm sure EB's happy to hear you say that.
Well, I mean, we don't have a babysitter, so don't worry about that. No.
But what if you have to get one?
We'll get an ugly 80-year-old woman. No, I'm not tempted.
You get Robin Williams in a wig.
Exactly. Hello.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Absolutely going to hire Mrs. Doubtfire.
I guess it causes divorce.
Yeah, no. I was like, but I didn't want to say nothing, too much drama, because it was really.
You don't want to go, holy shit, Luna, your nose is fucked.
And the fucking blood's pouring out like you got a
oh my God.
He's like a fire hydrant.
Oh, good Lord.
He was married to Susan Sarandon's daughter, by the way. Kyle Martino was married to Susan Sarandon's daughter, who I thought you were
talking about Mrs. Doubtfire.
No. So John goes on, and I don't know who John is. I'm glad you're watching, John. Kyle Banks, the babysitter, Martino, caused the divorce. He was married to Susan Sarandon's daughter. Oh, interesting. Susan Sarandon, by the way, hot. She was hot. But, I'm talking about, I don't know what she looks like now, but boy, Susan Sarandon, what a beauty. I mean, and a different kind of beauty. What a beautiful woman.
She was. That. Let me pull this up real quick.
Ava Amuri is her name. Okay, she looks like Susan Sarandon, but not quite.
Yeah, she looks like Susan Sarandon happens to be her mom, and she has some other dude as a dad.
Yes, who took over her face.
Biological material there.
Yeah, that took over her face because she doesn't look that much like Susan Sarandon except for the eyes.
Look at this
the
photo.
Eyes.
Assuming this is her photo right here, but look at the different size of the face. I mean,
holy Jesus!
A round face. This is definitely an oval. So,
Italian filmmaker Franco Amuri is who she procreated to make Eva.
There we go.
I don't know, but I'm guessing Franco is a big motherfucker. All right. Thank you for that news, John.
We're always fun with tangents here. All right. So,
for the 252, we're inching towards 300. 252 if you're here now. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandmother. Lean over and finger your stepsister. No, don't do that. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Al Weinstein says mid compared to Liz Warren.
That goes back. Hey, cheers to you. Props to you, brother. That goes back because Liz Warren was kind of a looker when she was young.
Like, 1920, right?
Yes.
Not the year, but age-wise. I mean, it might have been her year, actually. Was she like 19 or 20 at 1920?
Old black and white photos. Yes, they're very grainy.
What a weird time that would be if you could literally say, yeah, I was 19 to 20, roughly around 1920. It's just.
It wasn't.
What a fun number. What a fun bunch of numbers. I mean, it's just have to be born at the beginning of the century, of course, but.
It was the 60s. But okay, here we go.
All right. So Poach was just talking about how he went to Luna and said, Jesus fucking Christ, dude, your nose is fucked.
No, he was saying he was holding that in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I said, no, I can't. Please, coach, let me to keep playing because at least after in the half time I go out. Doctor, give me the okay.
I didn't understand a fucking word he just said.
Yeah, me either.
It's like listening to Sylvester Stallone talk as Rocky when he's all beat up and shit at the end of the movie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know English is not his first language and all, but man, I don't think he said a single word there.
Broken Furnace is like, she looks like Rocky, the daughter. Anyhow, so like some connections there with what you're saying. All right, what are we doing here? All right, let's keep going.
Yes. Yeah. I said, the doctor said, yeah, okay, you go in. And the first action, assist, and we score. I said, big balls.
Those big balls.
Yes. Well,
first action, he gets an assist. Big balls.
And I think that's fine. If he wants to say that, I think that's great. I think it's good. I know others might criticize.
Look at him enjoying his face right now. He's like, dude, I couldn't say big balls in Argentina. Maybe he could have, I guess.
I don't know. He probably could have.
Probably could have, yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing he could have because otherwise he wouldn't have translated it into English that way. Right? Because when he speaks, you can tell a lot of what he's saying. And this is me speaking German.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about translating what's in my head in English to German. Like, that's a horrible way. Like, you want to be able to say sentences that come out of your mouth naturally because you already know what they mean, right? And there are a lot of German sentences I can say that are natural because I've heard them 1,000 times and, it's easy. But not all of them. When I start having to talk about really complex subjects, then I'm searching for words. And I'm thinking, well, here's the sentence I want to put together in English. Holy shit, I don't know the word for that and that. Oh, fuck, I got to flip-flop that because that's not how German sentences are structured. Oh, and there's that fucking der die das thing. God damn it. Is a submarine a woman or not? Is a submarine a woman or is a submarine not a woman? All right, anyhow, there's that. So, all right.
Chuck says, I could never understand what he says, and I'm about to be deported soon.
Chuck, are you a criminal? If you're a criminal,
he's a smooth criminal.
I think the whole point is they have to start with the criminals first, right? That's what they're going to do.
Probably.
I just don't want to make anybody fearful of being deported. If they don't, that's not really going to happen because there are a lot of criminals that got to work on first, right? We don't even have close to the infrastructure to deport everybody. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's no way we're going to be able to do that. So, that being the goal, we know that's not possible. So you're going to start out with the bad guys first and get rid of them, then the gangs. Then, I mean, listen, it's going to be a long time before you get to anybody else. Really a long time because I don't know how many immigrants there are. Some people say 20 million, some say 18, some say 16, some say 12. I don't know what the number is at this point. I really don't because I've seen so many different reports. He's kidding. I'm born in the USA, clean record. The city of Alamo. Good for you, brother.
I'll tell you though, man. If they went past, obviously, I'm like 4th or 5th generation at this point. But if I were to get deported back to my homeland, if you will, Scotland and Ireland, I'd come off the plane and people would start talking and be like, "Do you speak English? You hablo inglés?"
Unless they started speaking Irish to you, Old Irish.
That's the thing, Gaelic and everything. You start throwing that shit out there, like, what the fuck are you saying, dude?
You wouldn't understand, dick.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
They wouldn't. They're only like isolated towns where people still speak that in Ireland and Scotland. So I think you'll be good. They would wonder why you're back and why you have such a funny fucking accent. They would. Go
back to your homeland. I'm like, I just got shipped here, motherfucker.
Your English is fine, but it's very weird sounding.
I know you can understand what I'm saying. I'm clear.
You'd have to learn to be a sheep herder too.
Do what? A sheep herder?
Yeah. Sheep herder, and then you'd have to get rid of your sexual attraction to sheep, which is a whole other thing.
I don't know if that can't happen. They got like chicken farmers there too, right?
What's so sexy when they go bah? Yeah. All right.
You're a bad boy,
Oh, that's even better. I didn't even take it to the boy part. I didn't know they could do that. Bad boy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I think we better get to player
ratings. Thank goodness we don't have wiki pages, man. Mine would just ever growing.
Yeah, this is all comedy. Come on.
What's canon in our show, man? Mine would just be like, Oh, he was a director of multiple porn movies.
Porn movies.
He gets pegged, and he likes
by
sheep.
his wife regularly. He loved sheep. Sexual attraction to sheep.
Oh no! God, it all got out there. That's the
Oh
worst.
my God!
Somebody hacked my account. I swear to God.
Oh Jesus! All right. So let's end the show by reviewing all the players individually, right?
Derek, we got stuff to talk. The big balls is done. I'll agree with you on that. We got stuff.
Okay.
We got stuff.
Big balls are done. All right.
Well, we'll go through it. We'll just bam, thank you, man. Oh no.
That's what she said. All right.
That's what she said.
Here. All right. And this is him now. Okay, great.
Diego. No, this is pre-show, I believe.
Yeah, because his nose isn't all fucked up yet.
Fucked up, yeah. So here's what he said. Sorry, he's talking about what the question is going to be like. How does what is poached and instilled upon you to be the 10? What is he telling you to do? Type of thing. Let me see. It's audio probably.
I'm just gonna have fun out there.
Can you fucking?
In that 10 role, what was Mauricio Pochettino's message
I can hear.
in terms of your role and position in today's game? Yeah, I think it's to be free, express myself, and be a playmaker for the team. Let things happen, make things happen.
There we go. That's what Poach told him to do. Something never
go out there and be yourself, my man.
Never heard from a Berhalter session.
Greg would be like, "What you need to do as a 10, and here's a 47-page PowerPoint presentation for you. That's what you got to do as a 10."
Yep. There you go. There you go.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Anthony Manzana with a massive question. Brett and Derek, are there any dual nats that are eligible to play for either Spain, Italy, France, or England that are oppositions of need that the U.S. can convince? I think the big ones we're talking about right now are Nathaniel Brown. That's the biggest one for me.
Going off the names, the countries that he listed here, Italy, I guess, would just be Koleosho.
Mm-hmm.
There's Diego Coach and that
for Spain.
Yeah, but he's
with us. Yeah, I think we're fine.
France. I don't know if there's. Do we have dual nats in France?
I don't know. But I do know we have them in England. We just covered when this show is at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, and there are others. But again, I'm not really worried about any of the ones in England and Spain or Italy, actually, because I really don't think they're going to be. I don't think Koleosho will ever be good enough to play for Italy. And that's just based on what I've seen for 2 seasons.
There's the kid the goalkeeper kid that's at Roma, if I recall correctly. Can't think of his name right now. What about this is Bundesliga, I guess, but what is it, Detoni or something like that?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about him either.
Oh, I'm listing name.
We could do that all night, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, there's tons of them. So the point being is, I wouldn't worry about any of the big countries. Listen, here's the deal. There's 3 options that could happen. 1, they're really fucking great. They're going to go play for those teams, right? They're really great. Spain calls you up. You're going to play for Spain.
Yeah.
Unless you have an enduring connection to the United States as a dual nat, then you're going to turn them down. 2, you're really good, but not good enough to play for Italy, Spain, Germany, England. We're calling you up. You're just below the level of their top 23. You're like 27th, and you're getting pissed off because you're not getting called up.
Yeah.
Then you're coming to us, right? And then you're not good enough for any. You're not good enough for us. You're not good enough for them. And there are plenty of them too who think who want to play for us, but they're not good enough for any of us.
Prime example, Alex Mighton.
Yes. Alex Mighton. Dwayne Holmes.
I guess, right?
Yep, Dwayne Holmes.
Yeah, Holmes at least got 1 call-up. And I think he should have gotten more call-ups, quite frankly. I thought his time with the Nats were fine. But obviously his battle back and forth with Berhalter just definitely killed any chance possible.
Yeah. I'd say with the Tony, hang in there.
The Tony.
I think, we'll obviously we're keeping an eye on it here. And, at that position, that's certainly a position we need to keep an eye on. But I think mostly there's like only 3 ways to go with any of these players at this point. They're either so good, they're going to play for the big boys on another country, the big boy countries, and there's nothing we can do about it. And then there's maybe a couple of them that might turn our way, but I doubt it if that's the case.
Yeah.
If they grew up in England and they're good enough to play for England, they're going to play for England. But if they're on the press, they're on the like outside looking in, they're like 28th out of 23 players, or the 32nd out of 23 players that make the England squad. I'm using this as an example. Then they might consider us because they keep being left off the big boy team in England. And then they're just guys that not good enough for us or England, and they might as well go play for Haiti.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Conrad, good example. Not good enough for us, not good enough for Spain, not good enough. He might as well go figure out how to play for whatever his third option is.
It is Haiti, yeah, 100%.
Haiti, yeah.
So Zach mentioned somebody. It's a French name, so how do you say that?
Deplace.
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 Bimar says McFarlane.
McFarlane. No, I'm just kidding. McFarlane.
Matisse Albert.
Matisse Albert.
Let's not forget Soto.
No club for Sebastian Soto yet.
Oh no! All right, so we had a story recently where John Tolkien was getting called out by some ultras at his new club because of some social media, and he's getting a crash course into the wonderful world that is social media.
Yeah,
But
are we doing this again? Are we doing this?
Not
again?
that it's particular. It's
Okay.
still on the Luna topic. But then there are some that truly understand social media and know how to run with it. So Luna's already changed his Instagram profile pic to a mugshot like photo of his broken nose.
Good for him. It's beautiful.
Fucking
Fucking beautiful.
awesome. What an awesome photo! I swear to God.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he's married, so you're not worried about attracting.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He's got a family, man. He's a family man. He's got a kid.
All right, let's cover this fucking goddamn.
Well, let's see. Do I need to really cover this? No, we don't need that anymore. We already kind of covered this. All right, so Pete made a comment during the game actually, and this is kind of a comment that I made, and I got called out for it.
Okay.
About the location of these Camp Cupcake matches, and I was like,
okay.
why are we playing in Orlando again? Why not? Why not give it to somebody like that normally doesn't get a game? It's like, hey,
Indianapolis?
Indianapolis is over here saying, hey guys, what about us?
Well, it's too fucking. It's cold as a witch's titty out here.
Well, you
so
play at Lucas, and yes, of course, 60% of that stadium will be empty. But you can do it.
Yeah, you got to put grass over it too. No, that's fuck, Brett. That's not working.
Fair. That's fair. It's fair enough.
Yep.
Either way. So I made the comment. People are like, oh, there's a big Costa Rican population down in Florida. So I think the stadium's going to fill out. It's going to fill out. Well, Pete made the comment. Hey, Orlando Stadium's empty.
Yes, and I said, well, what made you think it wouldn't be? What reason did you think anybody's going to this game?
Greg Turholder says we can't play up north in January, Brett. Well, we can play in Minnesota in February though, so anything's possible.
Nobody wants to do that though.
Nobody wants to do that. Yeah, I agree. I don't. If the game was played at the Mike here in Indy, I wouldn't have gone to that game because it was like 4 degrees outside. Fuck that. I'm not going. I'm old. I can do this shit if I don't, whatever. I want to go to a game here in Indy. But I definitely don't want to freeze my nutsicles off. So,
yep, absolutely.
But so let's see here, what's gonna come next? So while we're talking about Pete, I guess him and Lawless got into a little kerfuffle.
Oh yeah, you were gonna bring that up earlier, yeah.
So Adam asked Lawless, hey, what's your thoughts on the direction of the U.S. men's national team? I'm pretty excited about what Poch has going on so far.
Mm-hmm.
And Lawless says, Pochettino has brought in a new energy, but this U.S. men's national team still has a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, 504 days before the U.S. hosts Men's World Cup and 30-plus years since we last hosted, I'd have thought we'd be a little further along and in a better place. I'm counting on the September 26th.
Oh my! I have not read this Pete response, but I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be like, you were proud of the problem, right?
More or less, yes.
The reason we're not further along and in a better place is because we wasted 6 years on a PE coach, largely propped up by media shills. Oh no! Like he could have just put a period after TV shows. Oh shit! And then, like he said yourself, that's like a direct attack. And I get it. Pete and Tack, they're a duo, and Law is called Tack soulless. So I get it. I get why Pete's going like straight at him, but maybe that's the reason that people are irritated. But everything the players are saying about Poach now is what toxic fans have been saying for years. Yeah, we were never toxic. Greg was always the wrong man for the job. And they're the Greg loyalists out there. Holy Christ, they were
the most winningest coach ever.
They were the most like brain deficient people who refused to see what was obvious on the pitch. It was insane, but okay.
I mean, I feel like we're in a better place with Lawless, and we may not necessarily use the word chill in that situation, but he definitely boasted Berhalter quite a bit.
So we've never used the word chill. We use the word compromise, and I used it with Max.
Yeah.
And I explained to him why I called him compromise, and he said, fine, I can live with that. But I don't call Max a shill. And I have enough respect for him as a person not to call him a shill.
I don't think we necessarily have called anybody technically a shill.
Right. They're compromised. They have jobs, and they have things to do to make money for those corporations. Is that shilling? I don't want to use that word. I think they're technically compromised, just like when I worked for corporations and I had to slew out bullshit that I knew wasn't altogether true, and that I was overinvested in the corporation I was working for because it was making me a lot of money. Listen, that's not shilling. That's like self-preservation, and you're compromised. You're not allowed to tell the truth. I'm not allowed to tell a big author, well, all those things we promised you, we'll probably deliver on like 80% of those. And the other 20%, we're just fucking bullshitting you. Like, you don't tell somebody that. Now, is that wrong? Yes, to some level, that's wrong, which is why I left the corporate world. I felt bad about it, and I thought it sucked. So at some point, maybe, but like I could move to another job, right? So that wasn't a corporate job. I could go back to the nonprofit world where everything is much better. You might still be selling ideas that you can't necessarily promise are going to happen, but you're doing a good thing for a good cause. You might not get the problem fixed, but you're certainly dedicated to fixing the problem. So you feel a little bit better about that, right?
Yeah. I just he says, but he is a shill. That's his job.
Yeah,
but he's not. Well, I mean,
but he's also a fucking human being.
But he works for Fox, and he's not necessarily being paid by MLS, as far as I'm aware. So he doesn't necessarily have to shill for MLS. So I think his takes on MLS happen to be his own personal opinions.
And we called him out for that when he was on our show. So I don't know what else we can do. And he defended himself. And we called him out for the Greg thing. And he said, I might turn out to be wrong. And boy, did he ever turn out to be wrong. Okay. And so that doesn't mean I can't talk to Alexi about music and other things and recognize that he's a fucking human being. But he's just wrong. And when he's wrong, I'm going to call his fucking ass out that he's wrong. The difference is using the word shill means that the other person will no longer have a dialogue with you. And if they do have a dialogue with you, they're going to try to punch you in the nutsack. Right? I'm guessing that's what happened because I didn't see this.
My take on a shill would just be blind obedience towards the company or person that's paying you. So if you are a front office staff of Chicago Fire, and you come out here and say Chicago Fire has had the best off season, we're going to kill it this year. Yeah, it's absolutely shill behavior because you're part of that organization. So that's my take on it. But you can still back an organization without necessarily shilling about it. Be like, hey, our hopes is that we make the playoffs. That would be shill behavior.
I think the point would be like a total shill. A total shill would be like, I'm working for this corporation and I have lots of problems with what's going on, but I have to still work for the corporation. And I don't agree with everything they're doing. But yet I still have to toe the company line because I want my job, right? I want my job. A total shill is you give me money, you tell me what to say, and I'll say it. I don't think anybody's telling Lawless exactly what to say, but he is, and he admitted it on our show, he's a troll. He's a troll.
Sure. Oh, no, 100%. No, you cannot not look at his Twitter or social media and not know that he's not a troll.
I'm not convincing myself of anything. I know exactly what a lot of these guys have to do, right? Like, it's like...
There you go. There's a prime example right there, right?
Yeah.
Mandel absolutely shills for MLS. And he may personally feel like that being there for like 20 years or however long he's been there. But I mean, as a whole, everything he says is absolutely just pro MLS.
Yeah.
You know? So.
And that's frankly why I decided to get out of where I was. Can Alexi Lawless and others get out? Because that's like a good paying job. I don't know what you do there, but I do know that at least 80% of Lawless's takes about soccer have been better in the last 8 months to a year. They've been better because I've come on the show and said, I actually agree with him on that one, or I agree with him. But yes, when he's wrong that other 20% of the time, we still take him out here. We'll take him out. We'll take out everybody. When I say take them out, we're not like crushing them, and we're not calling them diseased brained persons.
Earlier in the show goes when Derek's like, my problem with Jimmy's show is,
yes,
I don't have a problem with Jimmy or his show or anything like that, but my problem with Jimmy's show is,
I love Jimmy Conrad as a person, but if he's wrong, he's wrong, and I'm just gonna have to say it, and then he can go on his show, which he did, and hammer me, and then we get together offline, and everything's fine. Yeah. Okay, all right, fine.
No harm, no foul, no hurt feelings on any end here.
Right.
And I feel like that's the thing people need to realize with us, at least, is, hey, we're going to disagree with you. We may come off hard at some points, but hey, come back with your banter, your take, your point, and we're going to be fine. It's going to be okay, guys.
So, for instance, with the Max Bretos thing, for instance, when I attacked him before,
quote unquote,
disagreed.
Yeah.
I said all the things that I thought he said was wrong, but I didn't call him a name. And then we had a discussion, and then he came on our show, and then he said, you're right. We're probably not going to happen until after 2026, right?
Yeah.
That's how a discussion happens. He changed his mind, and he doesn't say that shit anymore. Okay? So that's how this has got to work. But if you call someone a name like a shell, then they're not going to respond except for call you something. And
you definitely can't come back by continue saying stuff like, well, I think Weston McKinney and Pulisic and Reina would likely come to MLS after 2026. Well, yeah, because I mean, at that point, I mean, they're going to be into the aging stage of their career. Maybe they will come back. You don't know.
And I'm not saying Pete shouldn't say whatever the fuck he wants to say. He should say whatever the fuck he wants to say. But it does end the conversation, right? Because now it's going to be a name calling thing. I'm guessing. I haven't even seen this, but I'm guessing it doesn't get good.
Well, and as you mentioned, you have people coming to you asking, well, why are you friendly with this person, that person, Pete and Tack, let's just say, this example. But I mean, I've had people come to me and say, well, what's your take on this person saying this? And I'm like, that's their opinion. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to sit here and police their talking points. especially since we're pretty vulgar over here.
I mean we're vulgar.
If Pete calls this player a shithead, a talentless shithead, that's fine. It's his discretion. You can argue him being right or wrong, but I'm not going to sit there like, well, Pete, you should have called him a talentless shithead. I mean, that's not my take in life.
What am I
I'm not going to police the audience. I'm not going to police everybody.
Are we supposed to text Pete and Tact every time they say something we don't like and say, well, you can't do that? Oh, by the way, you need to monitor your audience more because they're really mean. Like, no, it's not our roles. It's not our job. Anybody expecting us to do that? No, not happening. Pete and Tact,
you're responsible for what you say, and I'm responsible for what I say.
Exactly.
And in Crossfire, I'm also responsible for what you say. So,
well, like, honestly, you and I have to bear the responsibility of what each and I say, because it's our show.
It's our show,
right?
Yeah.
But that's their show. Now, Pete comes on our show and says something absolutely ridiculous, which not ridiculous, but he said some things we have always said, well, I wouldn't say that. Remember, we have to say, I wouldn't say that about that way. Billy, we said that. And maybe we're just tender.
Well, it's like, you know what, the guy, and I know you may not be on the best terms with him, but he's a good guy. We do the same thing back and forth because Pete and Tact have their take with other people. We're like, hey, he's not a bad guy, man. You just gotta get to know him.
It's not a bad guy. Hey, dude, remember when they made Max out in Texas? They loved Max. They were like, yeah, you were right. He was a great guy. He's a great guy. Max Brenos is a great guy. He's a fun guy. He's a really nice guy. Do we agree with him all the time? Although his take on this campus has absolutely been spot on, for instance. But yeah, we disagree with Max. And there's a way to do that, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I am not saying that fucking Pete can't do whatever the fuck he wants. Pete can be Pete, and we're totally fine with Pete being Pete.
Yeah.
There we go.
And if Lost came back and said, hey, really your boy? And we're like, dude, he's his own guy. I mean, mute him, block him, do whatever you got to do. But, man, it has nothing to do with us. It's between you two.
Yeah. What am I going to get in the middle of their argument here? No, I'm not going to do it.
Let's reel it in. Let's be friendly. Come on, man.
Your boy Pete went after Lawless. What am I supposed to do about that? I'm not doing anything about it. So you can't. If you message me about it, I'm not doing anything about it. And I haven't even been able to get to reading it yet. Yeah. So I'm not fixing this. I don't know how to fix it. I haven't even read it yet.
Yeah, I mean, they're both big boys, and Lawless is going to forget about this in 2 seconds, and I don't know. I'm sure Pete will too.
20 minutes later, he's still chill out. Let's show Lawless.
All right, so everything that the players have been saying about Poach now is what toxic fans have always been saying for years.
Yep.
And Lawless responds by going,
I'm interested. I haven't seen it.
Agreed, you're toxic.
Oh, no. This is not good.
And Pete responded. He responded.
Okay.
He responded with cry.
Oh, no. This is so helpful. We're just making advancements here.
Good Lord. I don't think he responded again. No.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I get the vitriol. It just
oh man.
And we say this all the time. In the end, we're fucking human beings. So let's just have a talk.
Only human.
People can change, their opinions can change, and the way but they're never going to change if that's the way we go about it. So, but again, I'm not saying that Pete shouldn't say what he wants to say, and Lawless can certainly say what he wants to say. That's all. That's it. That's it. But I'm not getting in the middle of this shit. People were fucking PMing me, man, you got to fix this. And why do you keep hanging out with Pete when he does shit? Like, I'm not getting in there, dude.
Here's how we fix it. We put it on our show and we laugh about it.
There you go. That's what we do.
That's what we do. Before we get into the winners and losers, last thing. Frank Bolt posted a nice little post here, but saying Poach has never invited the following players due to injury or OW, whatever that is.
Bless you, Frank Bolt.
So Has Tyler Adams really not been called in? He was in last window, wasn't he?
He was.
Okay, that's what I thought. So Dest, Gio, CCV, Maloney, Sabi, Peacock, Banks, Paredes, Wiley, Luca De La Torre, Paxton Aronson, Ledesma, Reynolds, Yao, and Sands.
Why, when I read Luca De La Torre's name, do I always think of like a bacon and lettuce tomato sandwich?
What would the D stand for?
It'd be a BLT, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
I see the DLT, I get hungry.
Dick, lettuce, and tomato.
Dick, lettuce, and tomatoes? Yeah, I guess so. Donkey dick. All right.
So I mean that's a fun list to look at because Poach's talking about after the camp. I guess he said something like, "Yeah, there's definitely going to be some of these players from this camp that I'm going to call in for March." I mean, maybe like one or two, I imagine, in the end. But there's still a long laundry list of players who haven't been called in. Period.
Shit,
for various reasons.
He's not even called Nathaniel Brown. He's not even on this list.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely other people that could be on this list too. Yeah, you're right.
Brown, Chase.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's get to this motherfucker.
All right. Winners and losers.
Schulte. I'm not giving him a winner, but I'll say he was good.
Well, let's specify because you have different categories. You said.
I mean, there's winners and there's losers and there's shit in between, right? And the two things in between are good, decent, and no thanks, which is losers, right? So losers are like, yeah, no thanks.
So predominantly, this is going to be good and what was it? One
decent.
Decent. There's going to be a lot of those.
Yeah, good. Like winner, i.e., great, good, decent,
good.
Yeah, and
good means good, right?
Yeah, good means good. And then you got, he's decent. He's all right. He's all right. Meh. And then you got loser.
Yes.
Get out. All right. Like Schulte didn't lose anything. He's still where he is. He's not a big winner, but he is good. He's fine.
He's good. Yeah, he's good in the sense that
good to go.
A winner in the list would be someone who's improved their situation, quite frankly. Right? So
like,
Schulte has improved. What?
Like, whoa. Holy shit. Yeah.
So Schulte didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
He performed. He played. They won. So he's still in contention within those three spots for
absolutely.
100%.
Yep. Matt Breeze. Never saw him.
What can you say?
That's an NA, not available. NA. Yep. Not available.
He's an incomplete.
Incomplete. No idea.
That sounds negative though, but
would have liked to see him get like a half.
Yeah.
So Zach Steffen. Yeah, that's a big winner.
He's a winner in my book in this situation.
He's a big winner.
Yep. His stock has vastly improved in Poach's eyes. He made a couple of really great saves. So yeah, he's one of the winners in this camp.
Where in the future, you imagine he couldn't possibly squeeze into a future a U.S. men's national team March camp. He totally lubed that up, and he might slide in.
He might be the third goalkeeper at this point. Yeah,
he might slide that shit in.
Third one called in, not necessarily where he ranks in that system by any means, but he is one of three. We'll put it that way.
I mean, listen, that game provided him a whole tube of KY. And now he's only going to score a little amount of that, but he might squeeze into that U.S. men's national team asshole in March.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then Drake Callender was released and he wasn't part of the whole thing anyways.
Yeah.
Zimmerman.
Walker Zimmerman just stayed the same. He was decent.
Yeah. So not good, not great, but decent.
He was decent. He
didn't move up and down in my book.
He was good to decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DeJuan Jones.
Moments, but still decent to good.
I'm putting him more good than decent because they were.
That's fine. Yeah, he's not a winner though.
No, because I mean we're talking about a very few. When we're talking about the backs, we're talking about very few opportunities. So,
yep, good to decent. Not a winner, not a loser.
So, all right, where's Mike? There we go. Miles Robinson.
Like this is a roller coaster. First game, some moments. Second game, okay. So
decent recovery pieces. I mean, I don't recall Costa Rica really challenging us all that much. I mean, outside the first 20 minutes. Take the first 20 minutes out of the game, and the rest of the time, Costa Rica were on their heels. But there's...
Again, wait a minute. The second half sucked.
When we started making all our subs?
That second half was bad, yes.
Yeah.
So he had to play more defense, but Miles Robinson was, who we thought he was.
Exactly. I didn't see anything that stood out to me. I mean, it is exactly who you thought you were. Now, there may be some people that look at Miles and say, look, he's one of our best center backs. And then your opinion is still going to stay the same because he didn't change at all. I mean, he is who he is. Now, you can sit there and say, like, this moment, not good. Against better opposition, we would have been burned. But yeah, no, I thought his stock didn't change for me.
Nope.
Meh, or decent at best.
Not a winner.
Tim Ream.
It didn't change, but in the sense that he was...
It's decent to good. Again, stock didn't change.
It didn't change, which makes him a winner because he's still going to be there for the big boy team, I think.
That's fair. I'm just saying whose stock has changed. I would say looking at winner, you'd be like, okay, well, he's definitely making a case for himself. Whereas Ream is already in the...
You're right. He's already in, so he just
needs good. Just go with good then for you.
He just needs to be good enough to be a winner, right? He's a winner because he's good. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair. Yeah. Arfston.
Meh.
Decently good. I mean, technically speaking, his stock has kind of increased because most people didn't know who he was up until this camp, unless you watched him play.
That's fine. But he played what I would call technically
It's nothing that we don't get from any of the other options.
He's
You didn't make a name for yourself that much.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there are moments, and this is the problem with doing any form of rating in this situation. Like, oh, he was all right. And people are like, well, what about this play? I'm like, okay, that's cool. He had a good play. One good play there.
He wasn't all right. He was Yeah.
All right. Chill,
all right, Brett, I'm going to let you. Well, who's the next one?
Shaq Moore.
I'm going to let you handle this. I got to go pee.
All right.
Because you can do this one without me.
Sure. Shaq Moore fits into the Miles Robinson category for me. It's Shaq Moore. We all knew what he was going into this. And this is kind of our argument for the Camp Cupcake as a whole. When we talk about branching off into the U25 plus maybe a couple of age players or whatever, these age players, we already know who they are. Nothing's going to change. They might have a decent performance, or they may have some good plays. But again, as a whole, you know who you're getting with Shaq Moore, with Miles Robinson, with Zimmerman, and a good performance against Costa Rica or Venezuela in this situation isn't going to improve your stock drastically. Now, mind you, Poach is a new coach, so we're looking at this is going to be the first impression for most of these players. So maybe in that case, if you perform well in these games, it would still be a kind of a stock up. But no, Shaq Moore, again, did Shaq Moore things. So, whatever. All right, I guess. Is that what you say, Derek?
All right, I'm back. All right, who did I miss?
I just stuck with Shaq Moore there. I said he was who he is.
You know, the weird thing about people who say, remember when you were young? And, well, for me, you say, like, man, I had to piss like a racehorse. And regardless of how much I have to pee now, it's definitely not like a racehorse. It's slow. It won't come out like it used to.
Is that generally a prostate issue?
No, You just get older and it just doesn't shoot out like it used to. You're like, but you're like, God, couldn't this go faster? Like, could I press harder?
Look, even Kevin brought it up too.
Yeah.
He didn't hear me. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's a big prostate issue. Otherwise, I'd be getting up, through the night when I sleep to go pee. And that's not the case. But I just can't piss like a racehorse. Like, remember when you're young, you're like, get up in the stall and you're like, whoosh. Oh, yeah. Now it's like, yeah, I don't want to do that because it's not going to come out any faster the harder I push. Yeah. Anyhow, let's see. George Campbell. Yeah, that was, it was scary to watch him play sometimes. And
there are moments of his
but he had good moments going forward. Yeah.
But then, defense, there were a couple of moments you're like, God, what are you doing? For me, in this sense, he didn't help his cause.
No, he was he
was towards loser.
Yeah.
Outside of a Camp Cupcake call-up, I don't see George getting called back up anytime soon. And that could change. He's 23. He's still young. But I don't see it happening in the immediate future.
If I go to a big party, Brett, and then we talk, and you're like, so, man, how was that big party? And I go, it's all right. That's George Campbell. It was all right. Like, I went there. They had some fucking food. Like, it was okay. The drinks were there, but nothing spectacular. The entertainment was all right.
Yeah.
It didn't blow your dick off. That's George Campbell. Nobody got their dick blown off by George Campbell in this series.
Again, I think it was leaning towards loser because I just think his stock took a dip. Poach won't call him back up. We'll put it that way.
Oh, Greg Turdholler says Derek gets pegged too much to have prostate. Dude, you got the wrong guy. That's Brett. I had a girlfriend named Heather who wanted to peg me for years, but I never let her do it. Like, there are people who are into that, and there are people who just said, you know what? My butthole hurts already. I don't want anything in there.
You talk about pegging all the time, Derek. I just think it's all projection at this point. I think you're trying to make pegging okay with the masses. So
I've done a lot of weird shit, but not pegging.
Derek, I'm fine if you want to say that I'm the one that's getting pegged in the situation. Whatever. It's
You can throw me into the salad tossing crew before you do pegging. Let's just go there. All right.
Bmar wants to know what her last name was. Give the contact info.
I accidentally said her last name like 2 years ago. I'm not doing it again.
Oh, Bmar, you're gonna have to scour all of our old shows.
I have accidentally said so many chicks' last names on this show on accident.
Fortunately, Derek, given your extreme age, most of them are probably dead. So
no, they're not. None of them are dead, as far as I know.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Benjamin Kramashi.
He was good.
He's good.
Yep. Yeah. But not a winner. But
is he going to get called up in March?
He'll be like a Olympic guy going forward.
Somebody mentioned, maybe even Max, that Kramashi's had a great camp. He'll be a very promising leader for the U20s.
Damn, you did a good job of watching other people's shows. That's usually what I do.
No. This is all on tweets.
Oh, tweets. Okay. Yeah, I did a shitty job of that this week. Luna. Like, very good. But not yet a winner. Not yet, because winner means he made a case to be for the big boy team.
I think he has made a case. Now, mind you, maybe not necessarily his play in the first match against Venezuela was all right, cool, okay, he's there trying, I guess. His half against Costa Rica was really good, I thought. But I think where he's instilling a case with Poach is his attitude after his nose got busted.
Okay,
I think Poach wants those hungry, gritty players, and Luna brings creativity, something our team lacks when you lose Gio, and you're left with like Tillman and Aronson. There's no creativity there at this point. So he might be looking at somebody like a Luna in this situation.
So Poach is sitting in a theater, and there's a curtain, and the curtain
for you first. Yeah, go for it.
The curtain is pulled, and there are two players sitting in seats, and it's Luna and it's Miljevic. And he's asked, who are you taking as your backup to the World Cup? I'm guaranteeing you he's taking Miljevic.
As it stands right now, and I've talked about this on Twitter today, actually, as I could absolutely see Miljevic get the call up before Luna does. I could.
That's why I'm saying, even though Luna played well, he's not a winner yet.
Well, no, I'm just saying he's a winner in the sense that his stock has increased.
So my definition of winner is he's not, because I'm saying he played good. Is that he's now, my definition of winner is he's definitely in the conversation for the big boy team. And I just don't think that's the case.
I mean, yeah, it's possible. We were looking at, again, with Tillman not really performing for the U.S. He wasn't played in the last match in the November window.
You think Luna's going to take the spot over Tillman?
It's always possible.
No fucking way. No fucking way. Not in any universe, not even in Poach's universe. He'd give that to Miljevic before he gives it to Luna anyhow.
It's possible Miljevic gets it over Tillman. And that's why I literally just said seconds ago, Derek.
Okay, well, fine. I'm just saying, Luna doesn't get the winner for me because his broken nose probably prevented him from getting an extra 30 minutes in that game, 20 minutes.
Always possible, yeah. It's very possible.
Where he could have done more damage to his nose and the opponent.
Sure.
So,
I mean, I'm just saying. You look at once Gio's removed from the equation, who on our team has the vision that we saw on that assist? Now, mind you, again, against Costa Rica, we're in the MLS side, whatever, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera. But the vision was there with him at Real Salt Lake. His vision was there with the U20s and U23s.
Colin Reese says, stop repping Tillman. I'm not fucking repping Tillman. What did I just say? Poach is taking Tillman. Poach! I don't coach the team. Poach does. Just telling you what I think Poach is going to do. And I think Poach, regardless of his experience so far with Tillman, is going to take a Tillman before he takes Miljevic or a Luna.
So it's Nations League final. So it's likely he might take Tillman for that case alone. The fact that everything's such short notice, but I don't know. He hasn't really performed for the U.S. in that sense. So we'll see what happens.
This is all true.
This is all suspect as far as us just trying to figure it out.
So you're going to tell me Poach's going to look at a guy that plays at PSV the way he's playing right for PSV and say, well, he's just not good for the U.S. I'm going to give up on him. I don't think that is going to happen. Not until he gets at least a whole nother camp with him, because I think the problem with Tillman, with Poach is he looks, well, first they played him as a defensive midfielder, right? When he first came on. And then he just looked lost, like he doesn't understand the system.
I honestly think him playing at defensive midfielder was his best performance with the U.S. men's national team.
I mean, yeah, we talked about like his defense was really good, but going forward, not
sure.
So much. Right. All right. Emeka Enoli. Sorry.
Eneli.
Yeah. He was decent and he got an assist. He's mostly.
Yeah. I mean, that was the highlight of his camp. The rest of it was like, okay.
He's got no fucking chance at 2026. None. Put it down. 0%. Jack McLeinn. Jack, go fucking play in Europe somewhere soon. I don't know why he's still here. I don't know why he's in MLS.
His contract's nearing soon, so Philly's going to want to get something for him soon.
And I would say winner, chicken dinner, but frankly, Who's he supplanting? Who's he taking over? Aiden Morris's spot?
Again, he's in talk. He's in contention though. He's in talks. He may never crack it. He may have never cracked it.
Let me finish this thought though. When I say Aiden Morris's spot isn't even guaranteed.
Sure.
Taylor Testman's spot not guaranteed.
Sure.
Maloney's spot not guaranteed. You want me to keep going on down the list?
Called in over a year. His spot isn't guaranteed at all.
Luca De La Torre's spot not guaranteed.
I don't disagree with you. All I can say is the idea behind this is that there are winners of this camp that are making them part of the conversation. Again, not saying that they're going to get called in on March, but saying, hey, they're part of the conversation. And yes, I would say McGlynn's part of the conversation. Will he get called in March? I don't know. I doubt it. There's our midfield is probably our most stacked position, period.
He's not.
So all I'm saying he's in the conversation.
You still have our old slides where we brought up like a stacked midfield. And I know some people are going to say, well, it's stacked, but it's not really that great. Okay, fine. That's fine. But it's still stacked in the sense that they're all players playing and playing decently. Now, Testman didn't start this weekend. And so there are opportunities, but still, you look at Adams, McKennie, Reyna, we could go on.
Et cetera. Testman.
Johnny,
Busio.
The list is long. And so you got to really fight to get in there. And I just think that Jack doesn't have enough to even contemplate March. So I'd like to say winner because I think he played outside of the errors earlier on the first game, which nobody wanted to talk about for some reason because I thought he made some really bad passes and bad decisions, and then he got better as it went along, right? So
right. Yeah. No, again, I guess we're gonna have two different definitions as far as winners are concerned. Because I'm just saying, if you're a winner, if you're gonna be in the conversation with coach, and I'm not saying that he'll be McGlynn will be in the conversation after March, but I guarantee going into March, he's going to be fresh in his mind. And he's going to be like, hey, well, let's put him on the list. No, okay, well, he's like 6th in depth in our 23. So as far as our midfield is concerned,
I don't think he's going to.
It's probably not going to happen. But he'll probably make the list as far as the conversation.
I mean, it better be a long one.
Oh, that's what I said. He'd be like 6th in depth there.
Yeah, below
the 6 to 8 people we are to bring for midfield. Yeah.
Right. Greg Turtholder, we do know that Annalie's name is Italian and that it's actually pronounced Anelli.
Yeah, I said that.
Right. I said anally for fun.
For fun.
All right.
For the shits.
Agamon, we've already talked about at length, so we're not getting into details here. I would just say he was decent to good, and he's got a lot of work to do.
So it's an interesting one, though, because if we're looking at the players coming into March, because we're only like about a month and some change away. I would imagine Sargent will get back to his starting ways with Norwich soon. Hopefully. If
he doesn't.
Yeah. Pepe obviously is Pepe, but then at that point,
Pepe's number 1 right now and healthy.
Balogun's not going to be healthy by that time.
Nope.
Sargent's question. He's a bit minute right now, but again, I think he's going to be a starter before too long.
There's 2.
And then at that point, we'll gauge that shit. Haji Wright still injured?
Yes.
So then what? At that point, what are we looking at? We're looking at most likely, unless he starts reaching out to players like Damian Downs or
Vasquez,
whatever. It's going to be Vasquez.
Yep.
It's going to be the competition with Aguiman.
Yep.
So
it's possibly gets in the conversation in your way of framing things. In that case, he would be a winner. Yeah, because it's seriously depleted with Balogun's injury. PFOC not doing nothing for in Germany. And Pepe being the only one,
Again, Sargent with his ankle injury that's been nagging him for the last 2 years.
And boy, the way he played for 20 minutes this week with Norwich, which I didn't expect much, but not good. Not bad, but just like nothing there.
From his stats alone, it looks like he got on the ball more, at least.
Just nothing came of it.
His first game back, he touched the ball once.
So we got to be patient and see how that works out the rest of this month with Norwich. And then Haji's injury, which seemed to be like relatively tame at the beginning, has turned into a major serious injury that's kept him out for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then he's also a lot of the times played as a left winger.
Sagamon might actually have built his case overall, given the thinly stretched depth that we have once we get past our 1 or 2 or 3 players.
Well, the crazy thing is we only bring 2 strikers.
True.
So you got Pepe and whomever, but before.
And again, even though Vasquez hasn't really played, well, he by that time he will be just in preseason for him, as will Agmon. But yeah, I think it's gonna be Vasquez simply because Vasquez was a part of the last 2 camps.
And I think the only reason Vasquez didn't make this camp was his transfer.
100%, yes.
Yeah.
Like if that transfer had occurred before Poach set the roster, absolutely would have been part of it.
I think so. Brian White, this is his swan song. Doesn't matter where he's not playing for the U.S. national team ever again.
Camp Cupcake.
Nah, he's 28.
He might be included next year too.
Wait,
if he pockets another 13 to 15 goals, yeah, he'll definitely be in contention.
Well, that's sad then. Because at 29 next year, he's got like maybe 3-4 years left in his career. But okay.
How old was Wando when he went to 2024 World Cup?
Hey, not everybody's a Wando.
13, we phrase that. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Some people put away those easy shots. You're right.
Yeah. Miljevic only would get in the conversation basically because it seems to me Poach has made him a favorite.
Well, I mean, he plays with the cockiness and the attitude that Poach is trying to get out of these players. So he's constantly asking for the ball. He's very. I mean, you just see the amount of confidence he exudes, even if the skill levels may not necessarily equate to it. But he's definitely his head's up in the clouds, and it looks good because he's busting his ass and getting in on things. So
I'll make him a wild card as long as he finds a fucking club to play with and doesn't fucking tear shit up and be an asshole. All right?
Yeah.
If you can manage that, find a good club to play for, preferably not in MLS. Go find another Argentinian team or go to Portugal or Spain or wherever. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. But just find a team you can play for and play regularly and don't punch anybody in the face. Maybe you got a shot. Gutierrez, still young, very young.
He's not ready.
Not ready.
Go back to Chicago, get some more experience under your belt. I mean, I saw there were some good flashes there.
Yeah.
But as a whole, he's just not. He's not up there. Yeah.
No.
That's fine to say.
Yep.
And I'm obviously biased towards Guti. So
you are as a Chicago fan. Vasilev, I'm not even sure why he was there, except to provide the Vaseline. Listen, we were high on Vasilev. Well, not high. We were like excited about his Aston Villa stint, but he is who he is now. And I don't think
wasn't overly impressive either.
No. So that'd be a meh.
Yeah, definitely meh. Yeah.
Yep. Caden Clark, he's decent.
I was actually because I haven't watched Caden Clark really since his Red Bull days, and he flamed out in Minnesota, went to Montreal, of course, in the end, and I was doing well there. But I didn't really watch him. So when I got to finally sit down and watch him these 2 matches, I thought he played really well.
Yep.
So I mean, again, we're looking at our depth on our wings in question. And I know Colin mentioned earlier that Luna could also play as right and left wing as well. He doesn't have to play the 10, even though we kind of pigeonholed him in that 10 role. Our wing depth is in question.
Is it possible that Caden Clark heard all the criticism, looked in the mirror, and said, I have been kind of a pussy?
So it's possible.
Because he's sure playing like a guy who's got a fire lit underneath his ass at Montreal. and he deserved this call-up because of his performances at Montreal. Let's see what he can do. Like, I know I already wrote him off the big boy team, and there's a long way for him to get there. But he's only 21. Let's say he gets to Europe by 23, back where he was supposed to be at Leipzig or somewhere else, and becomes the player everybody thought he was going to be before he got too comfortable in the whole idea of his stardom or whatever it was. I don't know what it was that turned him into kind of like weak sauce, right? So we'll see. Before you do that, broken furnace, we missed. Vasilov had the best facial hair of the Cupcake team. Yes, he did. Absolutely. That was one hell of a mustache.
Respect some game, yeah.
One hell of a mustache.
But he also had like the 5 o'clock shadow going on.
He did, but he had the 1930s mustache.
Yeah, you see?
Hey,
you're gonna catch me, Cobra.
Yeah, I'm very bad.
Hold on real quick. Greg will bring out the best in Guti with his masterful soccer knowledge and tactical acumen.
Oh, Jesus.
So Greg Turlder said, I don't know if this is about Kane Clark or Luna or whatever, but he says, this was just recent, so it had to be Clark. So he's like, Gold Cup, maybe. The thing about the Gold Cup, though, is that with Nations League being here in March, the finals being here in March, there's nothing competing with the Gold Cup. So I would wager this is going to be practically an all-A squad or predominantly an A squad for
big boy team.
Minus the Club World Cup, of course. There's a couple players going to be missing for that, but it's predominantly going to be a big boy team.
Yep.
So I don't think unless Clark's balling at Montreal, I don't think he's going to get another look in that situation.
Clark's more of a 20-30 guy.
Yeah.
And he'll have to, as I say, play a couple more years in MLS and continue to do the evolution because he's got the technical skills. He's got the ability. What he was missing before was a pair of fucking balls. Now he's got some. He's got a pair of fucking balls. He's playing like that at Montreal. Or I'm sorry, he's got character now. He's looked himself in the mirror and said, what am I doing here? Why is my career deteriorating when I'm this good? Well, sometimes you got to have that look in the mirror and say, I'm doing this to myself. I need to go out there, take the bull by the fucking horns and go after it and kick some ass. And he's doing it at Montreal, and he did it in this camp, and he did it the last game. So we'll see if Caden Clark can take that to another level. I mean, listen, it's rare when a young player gets kicked in the nuts hard like he did when he goes to Europe and the team that had eyeballs on him for 4 years says, well, really, we thought you were going to be great, but we actually think you're not that great. You kind of suck. And we're going to go send you and loan you off to a team. And that team that they loan him to, it's like, yeah, right. He does suck. We're not going to play him either. And then he ends up having to come all the way back to MLS, look himself in the mirror and go, how did that all happen?
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, some of that's on me. I got to go out there and play like I used to play, with joy, with heart, with guts. And that's what he's doing at Montreal, which we've been reporting on for a few months now. And that's what he did here. And I still don't think he's going to, I'm not eating crow yet, because I do think that he's got a chance at 2030 if he keeps this up for another couple of years, goes to Europe, blah, 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 turns into the player we all thought he was going to be. And then, maybe he's an option down the road. So there we go. All right.
Isaiah also mentioned that he got hit with appendicitis at the worst possible times too.
That's all true, but that doesn't explain a lot of other shit, though, Isaiah. Honestly, So,
knowing that knowing that Poach said that there's, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but yeah, there are going to be several of these guys in this camp that are going to get called in on March. Do you think it's just talk?
Yes. And the several guys he's talking about are the 2 goalkeepers.
Okay, that's
and maybe 1 center back, which is Reem.
All right, that's multiple. You're right. That is a good point. Let's just say those 3. And we talked about in the show, the only person that might be vying for it, Miljevic might, just because of his connections with Poach at this point.
Yeah.
Again, Luna and Agumon are kind of long Hail Marys at that point, even though our wing depth is rather weak at this point. But
if you look up several in the dictionary, it's 3 or more people. So I'm thinking 3, and I'm thinking 2 goalkeepers at the best and 1 center back, and that's Tim Ream. And so when he's saying several of these guys are going to make the team or might make the team, that's who he's talking about. He's not talking about anybody else because, honestly, nobody else has a shot. I'm just being honest here. Not with him, not with what we're coming up against. And, yeah.
Our wing depth in the last window included players like Cal and Zendejas. Would you rather take Luna over either of those two?
No, because he's not really a winger. You'd have to take him as a CAM because that's what he is.
You have to remember how the wings play. I mean, that Way is the only one that plays like a wing. Outside of that, Pulisic or whoever else just pinches into the middle anyways.
Zendejas is a real wing.
True.
Winger. Yeah.
And questionable with the U.S. men's national team, too. I agree.
And I don't think we're taking any more than 3 wingers, period.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, you're more likely right.
Because Aronson can do it on a pinch.
It's true.
And if Haji's healthy, which you would hope he would be by March, he can do it too. So
healthy and back to match fitness that time. I mean, we have no idea of an ETA with that guy.
Listen, we all want Luna to turn into what we have a vision for him being, right? We all want that.
Never mind. Yeah, I just swashed it all. Paxton
and Paxton too. Paxton's been
completely
fucking
fabulous.
He's been the best player in Utrecht all season long. Without Utrecht's not here. They are not in the top 3 in fucking Holland, right?
Yeah.
Unless Paxton's on that team. Period. End of story.
Although he has been, as you mentioned multiple times, he has been playing more of a deep lying midfielder instead of a winger. But he has a history of playing out wide and as a false 9. So
yeah,
he's
he's
a jack of all trades in that front.
He's establishing himself though as a real box to box midfielder.
Yeah,
seriously. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. As much as all of us in our hearts want the Luna thing to work, it's got some time still to develop and evolve. So we don't need to rush it. There's still 2030. Luna can work it out by then. And there's no reason to rush any of these guys who aren't ready for prime time yet and haven't made it to Europe or aren't playing Champions League ball or aren't on a Bundesliga team or an EPL team or even a top 3 Dutch team, which Paxton Aronson is. And he's the main reason they're in the top 3 in Holland. So again, we could bust out, and we're not going to do it tonight, the list of depth that we have at every position now. Most of them, unless you're talking about left back, center back, and goalkeeper, are it's pretty deep, especially if you consider a lot of them could play multiple positions. Because Moose is now a right wing back or a winger or a right wing back. Okay, so not going to get into that now because we said it before, but yeah.
And we'll say it again later.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for folks to bust in any of these guys except for a goalkeeper, as we said, and Tim Ream at center back. There you go. That's it. Tim Ream will probably be there in March. He probably will. Zimmerman probably is not.
It's the easiest way to placate them less crew, right? Yeah, several of these players being there. Well, the 2 goalkeepers, because our goalkeepers are shit right now.
Yeah, Schulte
and then Tim Ream, who was always in the roster since 2022.
Because I don't think Zimmerman's going to make it unless we got some big-ass injuries. Unless Poach doesn't rate Trusty or CCV, and then you're left with McKenzie, who he does rate.
Hey, EPB is playing again.
Richards, McKenzie, Ream, I guess
Scally, technically.
Scally, yep. because he'll play the right center back spot. So that's 4. Yeah, I mean, then it's after that, it could be a crapshoot. It really could be because we don't know how Poach rates CCV or Trusty. We really just don't. We don't. And so there could be a possibility that a Robinson or a Zimmerman gets a sneaker. But it's not like we don't already know those guys.
Wouldn't it be hysterical if it's actually Campbell who gets called up?
Yeah, it would be hysterical because it's not going to happen.
I know. Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to do it. I mean, my voice is gone.
Oh.
All right.
Saying, it's time to close up.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for hanging out with us for 3 hours and 15 fucking minutes because we're fucking morons. All right.
This is going to be a long show.
That's what we said, but we were wrong. All right. We'll be back on Monday. Peace. Say hi to your stepsister. Make sure you like and subscribe before you leave. And we will be back on Monday. And I hope it's a great weekend of games. We'll see. All right. Until then, peace out.
That hurt.
I want to play in Europe. What the hell does that mean, right? Because Europe could be Latvia, Luxembourg.
No one's talking about Latvia or Luxembourg, dumbass.
But you don't want to just shove it in there. Start with the smaller finger, especially if this is the first time. Start with the smaller finger and go slow.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Honey, eating ass, it is the best thing that you can do for your man.
I want people to realize I'm just human. I'm just human, and I make mistakes.
So this guy, Derek, wants to know, is putting your tongue in an ass really the thing to do?
Yeah, it feels really good.
It's a weird one, I think.
And I know you want me to toss your salad too, don't you? All right, on that